RBT family, what's the deal? It's your dog Willie Jack, and we are back. Back, baby. Back with more NFL action. How's everybody doing? How you feeling? How we doing? How we feeling? It's Super Sunday. Super Bowl 60 is here. This is it. The end of the road. There is no tomorrows. This is all we got. One more game to crown the champion for this season. The New England Patriots taking on the Seattle Super Seahawks. Super Bowl 60. I'm telling you what, I'm super excited. I'm very fired up. I cannot wait. Absolutely, completely fired up for this game. Now, I warn y'all, just the way things just tend to go, just technical difficulties, but it's all good. I appreciate y'all bearing with me. We're here. The show will go on. The show can and will go on, and we here, we live, and we lit, and we made it. Let's go. Like I said, this is Christmas in February. This is football Christmas. This is it. This is what we waited for. This is what we've been counting down to. We are finally here at the big game, and I'm telling you right now, I absolutely cannot wait. Cannot wait for this one to start for sure. For sure. And then, actually, I see you in the chat early this morning. Mom Deuce in the building. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. And Big Nation, William and Big Nation family, have a blessed show as always. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, now we've got a big one today. And I'll tell you what, like another reason that this one is super exciting, you know what? See, I'm a little off center. Hold on. Y'all got to bear with me. I'm still tweaking, I got it's stuff going on in the background, man. I'm getting used to all my new gadgets and gadgets. Then also, I'm trying a wireless mic as well. So if the audio is a little off or a little funky, drop something in the chat and let me know. But I think we should be good to go. But no, I think this is going to be a damn good game for sure. Well, let me be honest. There's two ways this can go. Drake Maye and the Patriots can pull out some type of Herculean effort and make this a close competitive game. Or Seahawks could roll, man. I mean, just being honest, the Seahawks could roll. And so, and then honestly, I don't think it's necessarily just to speak ill of the Patriots, but man, they're just out there outgunned. I mean, it just really feels like they're outgunned, man. The Patriots are, this more so feels like, I don't like that either. Y'all got to bear with me. This more so feels like I'm thinking about Iverson's Sixers taking on the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. Like it's one team is a one-man band. You know what I mean? One team is essentially a one-man show. And Drake Maye, and the Patriots taking on, like I said, man, the definitely the much deeper, more talented team and roster of Shaq and Kobe's Lakers, man. That's how this feels. Sam the Man Darnold, Jackson Smith and Jigba. You know what I mean? Drewski, you need your, whooped. You know what I mean? Playing with that man's name like that on the biggest night of his professional, not the biggest night. Tonight's going to be the biggest night. But even still, man, there's a time and a place for everything, and everything's not for jokes and everything's not for play. But be that as it may, man, Sam Darnold, JSN, this year's Offensive Player of the Year. We know what that defense is about. Man, Devon Witherspoon, stud rookie Nick Emmanwori. That defensive line is, man, the real deal. Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence as well. And so, man, we know there's a lot of names on that Seahawks team for sure. And then on the other side, we got, like I said, man, we got the young stud, man, the young gun himself, Drake Maye. Should have been your 2025 MVP. But we'll get into all of that. We'll get into all of that for sure. And then I guess before we do as well, I'll hold off. I'll hold off for a little bit before I start jumping into my actual prediction for the game. I keep going back and forth. Like I said, this is one of those games where are we going to get game one of Sixers Lakers? AI comes out, drops 50 or drops 48, damn near 50, and steals one away from the Lakers. Now, of course, that being a 7-game series, they got swept. It was a gentleman's sweep the rest of the way. But there's always that first one, right? And so, maybe Drake Maye comes out and he's able to supersede a lot of the issues that I expect him to have in dealing with that Seattle defense, especially that defensive front. I think the biggest mismatch in this one is definitely going to be Drake Maye's offensive line versus the defensive line for the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, that's really going to be the tail of this game for the Patriots. And we saw in that AFC Championship game before the full-fledged blizzard set in, but that Broncos defensive front were having a way with this Patriots offensive line. And it made it so I mean that Drake Maye couldn't hardly do anything because he just didn't have time to do so without, having guys, without being forced to run for his life or get the ball out because of the immediate pressure he was getting. Seattle's going to offer a lot of those same issues with their defensive scheme in the front and the pieces that they have in place as well. And so, that worries me right there. That definitely does. But another thing as well, not to go too hard on the young kid, man, Drake Maye, he's been dealing with that porous offensive line all year. And you know what he did with that same offensive line with those same issues? Led the league in average depth per target, or average, average depth per target, or average pass attempt. Led the league in completion percentage as well. So not only was the most accurate quarterback in the league this year, he was also taking his shots down the field and doing so at an extremely high clip with that same porous offensive line. And so that's what I'm saying now. There's a chance here for the young kid to do something. Then also, as well, look, everybody want to call me when it's showtime. Hold on. Goodness gracious. It's Super Bowl Sunday. It's showtime. I'm on YouTube. Get off my phone. Come on now, stop playing. I love you, cousin. But yeah, so now also on the Seattle side, right? Because it's not a clear-cut thing for them. It's not a clear-cut walk-away win for them as well. Sam Darnold, for all the things we know and love about Sam and the reclamation project that he's been in the turnaround that he's had over his career for these last 2 years for sure. Spectacular, can't go without saying. But every now and again, he has shown that he will lay an egg in these big moments now. You know what I mean? He may not necessarily show up to the party ready to dance. And so we've seen that particularly at the tail end of the last two seasons for him. His last season in Minnesota, where he really curtailed down the stretch there. And then even a little bit here in the end of this regular season. Now, I would say starting with that first matchup against the Rams, right, in which he threw 4 interceptions in a game in which they still end up only losing by 3 points. But obviously, I would say definitely his worst performance of the year in that game. And so but we did see that offense kind of slow its pace just a tad. Now, also conversely, right, that defense in the running game particularly really kind of hit their stride and kind of moved to the forefront. And so when doing that, we can, kind of rein in the passing game, and we don't have to maybe take the same chances or be as explosive as we had been for the first 3 quarters of the season. But it still remains, right? This is going to be the ultimate test for Sam Darnold. And maybe he's able to put that disclaimer or kind of put that side notion away for good about whether or not we can truly count on him to show up at his best when all the cards, all the chips are on the table, right? And show up and be viable and be ready to go and not go out there and just kind of stink it up. Now, not to say that we would want to count on this for the Super Bowl, but that Seattle Seahawks team is strong enough that I think he definitely, and I'm talking about Sam Darnold, he's definitely going to have more leeway to kind of find his footing and maybe find his groove in this game, bolstered by, of course, that defense, Mike Macdonald, and everything that he does there on that Seattle Seahawks defense. And then also, like I said, man, they've kind of found a nice little groove in their run game with Kenneth Walker III, for sure, kind of really having his best stretch of the season in that fourth quarter of the year, right? Kind of the tail end of the regular season and then going into the playoff run for sure. He's definitely playing some of his best ball. And so all that means that Sam may have, a little more wiggle room to kind of find his footing in this one. Whereas Drake Maye's got to come out firing from the gate. You know what I mean? Like, this is one where, and I mean, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to pick against the Seahawks just for all these reasons. But Drake Maye doesn't have that. He doesn't have that leeway. He doesn't have that buffer of just a standout defense and a pretty strong run game to lean on or support him. Now, also, that Patriots defense has improved definitely throughout the course of this year. I think that unit kind of started to find its groove. Similar to Seattle in their run game, they started to kind of play better and find their groove kind of going into the back half or the end of the year. And then they've kind of played a lot more stout in the playoffs. Now, also keeping in mind that their playoff opponents, there's a caveat there. So they played the Houston Texans, and we know the troubles that CJ Stroud was having throughout the course of the year, but it definitely amplified it in the playoff run. 5 turnover style plays in the opening wildcard game against my Steelers. He had a 4 or 5 turnover day in the divisional against the Patriots, right? And so the Patriots definitely played well in that game when you force 4 or 5 turnovers against the Texans. And then also, of course, in the AFC Championship game, before the blizzard set in, Jarrett Stidham and those Broncos, they were moving the ball they moved the ball pretty well for those first two. They scored on 2 of the first 3 drives. The first drive was a quicker kind of 3 and out. That second drive, Jarrett Stidham went right down the field and scored a touchdown. Then that third drive, they drive right down back into the red zone. And then this is where Sean Payton probably got a little greedy. They went for a knockout punch early in the first quarter to take a 14-0 lead right there out the gate. That Broncos defense was looking dominant. Drake Maye and the Patriots hadn't found any type of footing. And so it looked like Sean Payton and that offense, they went for kind of a quick knockout there to go up 14-0. They end up failing on the 4th down touchdown attempt, passing up those 3 points. And then lo and behold, that ended up being the game for them. They lost that game 10-7 because a full-fledged Category 3 blizzard moved in and essentially, shut down both offenses for the rest of that game. The Patriots had been able to rally and take a 10-7 lead and were able to just ride off with that lead, and the weather at their back being the difference in this one. And really, the Patriots just didn't have a chance to get anything going after that. And so the Patriots defense is playing a lot better, especially if we're looking at the playoff numbers, but, taking into context or taking into account those things that we said. And so, it's still a tough one, but I think we're going to find out relatively early in this game how it's going to go. Like I said, I think this is a game in which Drake Maye and those Patriots, they've got to come out firing. They've got to come out, and honestly, they got to come out and get a 7. I think they've got to come out and get a 7. Honestly, I think if in the coin toss, and I'm not sure who's going to be classified as the home or away team in this Super Bowl game, but if I'm the Patriots, I think we've got to take the ball and we've got to walk away with a 7 in this drive. I don't think we want to start chasing in this game at all, because the last thing we want to do is put Drake Maye in a position to where, he's got to take shots from 35 feet all night. And then that Seahawks defense really gets teed up. They pin those ears back because they're chasing an early 10-0 lead, right? The running game for the Patriots has already been, it's average, mediocre, probably more like, right? And so, there's already going to be a lot of heavy lifting for Drake Maye. And so forcing him to chase an early 10-0 lead, allowing that defense and Mike McDonald to really let all the dogs loose on him, that can get ugly. That could get ugly in a hurry. So if you're the Patriots, you got to come out. You got to hope that your young gun, your young stud, you got to hope he's ready to drop 40 in a hostile environment tonight. And you got to go down and you got to get an early 7 to put a little, to give yourself that pace of that buffer. And then you got to hope that your defense can play with a little bit of a newfound swagger, newfound confidence, and, see if we can maybe get to or rattle Sam Darnold early in this game before maybe he has a chance to kind of calm down or find his own groove. And so I think that's how this one's got to go. But if I'm being honest, I lie for you before I lie to you. Y'all know what's going on. I think it's too tall an order, man. I think there's too much that has to go perfect for the Patriots for them to pull this one out in my mind versus Seattle just really being able to show up and just kind of play their game. It really feels like Seattle's able to just kind of show up and just go out there and play ball, right? That defense is going to be who we've seen them to be for the bulk of this season, right? And Mike McDonald, he's got an excellent pedigree coming from Baltimore. We know what he's about in that defense, the way they fly around, the way they get after the quarterback. Leonard Williams, Yeah, I believe Leonard Williams was an All-Pro. I think he was one of the first team All-Pros this year. Fantastic season. DeMarcus Lawrence coming over from the Cowboys. I believe this is his first season in Seattle, first or second season, but he's playing in his first Super Bowl, and he's been a very complimentary piece of that defense as well. Ernest Jones, the former Rams linebacker, he's definitely one of the hallmarks, kind of commanding the center, the second level of that Seahawks defense. He's playing damn well. Then, of course, we know about the studs in that secondary. Devon Witherspoon, an absolute animal. Man, was a huge fan of him, one of my draft darlings in the year he was coming out. And not just me, man. He was a popular prospect, man, coming in for a lot of guys with the swagger and the attitude that he plays with. And then also just the way he impacts the game in the pass and the run game. He's fantastic. Nick Emenwari, standout safety. He plays like safety star nickel for them. Mike McDonald in this defense, the way he's able to fly around, especially with his blend of size and speed. Man's like 6'3", 230, runs 4.4. I mean, he's a freak. And so the way he's able to be of impact, you still got Reek Woolen on the outside as well. I mean, there's just a lot of pieces on this Seahawks defense, man. And that's why I tell you, they just got to show up and play ball. They got to show up and play ball. And then, like I say, even Sam Darnold. Now, if Sam comes out hot, then yeah, they can run it up. I mean, we've seen when Sam's firing on all cylinders, JSN's gonna be unguardable, right? I do want to see him and Christian Gonzalez duke it out in this one for sure, but that doesn't scare me if I'm Seattle. And as talented as Christian Gonzalez is for sure, I don't see why he would be any different. I don't see why he would be any different than what we've seen JSN do against a litany of the best defenders that this league has to offer. Derek Stingley Jr., and the list goes on, right? So there's been little to no answer for JSN all year long. And as talented as Christian Gonzalez is, I don't see him being the guy that finally finds a way to just completely lock up your offensive player of the year in Jackson Smith and Jigba. The only thing that's going to slow Jackson Smith and Jigba down in this game is whether or not if Sam Darnold comes out and maybe he's not necessarily firing or playing to his best of his ability. Outside of that, if Sam's able to get JSN the ball, the JSN's going to cook. I mean, I just don't see no way around it. Not to say that Christian Gonzalez maybe won't be in pocket and be in phase and play tough, right? And I think he'll have his moments. He'll have a key deflection or so. Maybe he gets his hand on a pass. I don't know. But in the grand scheme, I think JSN's going to do what JSN does, man. And that's go out there and look like the best receiver in football, as he has for the entire year. So they got to come out and play ball. Kenneth Walker III, like I said, he's definitely found a groove and found a footing in that run game. They're moving bodies. We saw the success they had in the NFC Championship against the Los Angeles Rams and that defensive front, man. And then, like I said, against the Niners as well the week before. Now that Niners defense, we know what they've been dealing with, injured and beat up, like they are most every year, right? So that's unfortunate for them. But yet and still, man, we've definitely seen Kenneth Walker III really kind of bolster himself, man, and especially in a year in which he's going into free agency as well. He's definitely playing his best ball at this most critical stretch or juncture of the year. So I'm going Seahawks. And like I said, man, this is game one Philly versus what is that? Was that the 2001 Kobe Shaq Lakers? Shaq Kobe Lakers. Forgive me. Those are the Shaq Kobe Lakers. R.I.P. to Mamba, but those are the Shaq Kobe Lakers. But yeah, this is the 01 Shaq Kobe Lakers, man, against MVP AI and his 76ers team. And I think it's just too little, man. This is definitely feeling more so like a David and Goliath. I think it's like I said, man, it's one standout stud guy and Drake Maye going against a talented team and roster on both sides of the ball. I'm gonna give y'all a score. Give me a second, because I can definitely see that. Like, this could be one that just gets away for the Patriots, man. I definitely think this could be one that gets away from them. I can see this being a multiple touchdown game. I can see this being a 30-20 Seahawks victory in which they kind of control this thing for about 3 of the 4 quarters. You know what I mean? Like where they kind of take an early command of this game, and then they just kind of more or less put the Patriots away. And then the Patriots maybe they rally, they get a late touchdown to kind of tighten it up, and then I can see Seattle winning this game 34-20. For the Patriots, though, I'm just not so sure. I'm really not so sure what a realistic victory looks like for the Patriots. I would definitely think that means it's a lower scoring game. I would think that it means that Sam Darnold came out and maybe he played a little, like maybe he started slow, or maybe he does have a costly turnover or more in this game. And so there's a few things that I can see here. Hold on here. Why is everybody? People hit me up on the show. And you know what people that I'm getting? Oh, look at this. I hope is the stream up? What's going on? Because now people are texting me, asking me if I'm showing up, if I'm on or not. Oh my gosh. Look, we rocking now. I'm up. I'm showing live. I don't know if maybe the stream's not showing. I'm not coming across on people's YouTube algorithm. I don't know what's going on. I'm showing that I'm live for sure. I'm showing that I'm live, so I'm just gonna have to rock on out. I don't know what the deal is. Hold on. When I tell y'all, I'm live. I'm showing live. And so I'm showing live. I need somebody to holler at me in the chat there because I don't know what's going on. Mom said she found me on YouTube or on Facebook, but the YouTube's not showing active. Well, I had to worry. We had to figure it out. I don't know what's going on. Unfortunately. I don't know what the deal is. I'm sure it's showing me that I'm live for sure. And so, like I said, we're going to rock out now. If y'all don't get to see it live, then after the show concludes, man, it'll definitely be posted anyway. And then, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate if y'all rock with your dog, man. Tap in and run back through it, man, because I'm still going to do what I got to do. Try to have a good time, talk a ball for sure. So I don't know what's the deal. Yeah. And see, I saw your message earlier. So when you sent the welcome message earlier at 10:30, I saw that message pop up on the YouTube, but like I was having some little technical issues, and so I had to push the show back till 11. But I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna keep on going, man. I'm gonna rock and roll. So like I said, I could definitely envision that the Seahawks can take a firm hand in this one. Like I said, I think it's just, you know, they've just got the Patriots outgunned in this one. They definitely do. And I can see them kind of taking control of this one early and more so just kind of walking away with this one. Maybe we get a late touchdown to kind of close the gap towards the end of this game for the Patriots. But I can see the Seahawks winning this game. I'd say somewhere 34-20, somewhere in there. I think 2 touchdowns isn't out of the realm of possibility. If the Seahawks come out absolutely firing, that defensive front is getting after Drake Maye. He's not able to take those accurate shots downfield the way we've been able to see him do throughout the course of this entire season. So I definitely think those are things that can bode ill for the Patriots and make this a relatively comfortable win for the Seahawks. Now, for the Patriots side, like I said, if they're going to win this one, I definitely think it's going to be a lower scoring game. That defense is definitely going to have to show up and make big plays. Sam's going to probably have to come start a little slow or maybe just not have his best game. Maybe it's one of these games where, like, man, he just doesn't find his groove. He turns the ball over a time or two and really keeps the Patriots in this one. If the Patriots were to win this game, Let me see here. Okay, Sis is in the building. She just got in the chat. I'm hearing people are starting to hit me up saying that the link's not showing live on YouTube. Like, I don't know. So I don't know what's going on. Because I've been on since like about 11. I was having some technical issues this morning, of course, right? But so I had to push the show back. But like people are hitting me up and they're saying that the link wasn't showing on YouTube or it's not showing that I'm live or whatnot. So I don't know. But look, Sis is in the building. She just got on. Man. I don't know. But yeah, if the Patriots are going to win this one, that means Sam Darnold definitely came out and laid an egg. I think if the Patriots win this, the only way I see that happening is that Sam Darnold lays an egg. And if that's the case, which would be super unfortunate for Sam Darnold, man, we already know the journey that he's had, getting to where he is, really reclaiming his career. He was on the verge of being, one of these guys that fades into the land of the elephant graveyard, the QB graveyard, man. He was one of those guys that was going to fade and fizzle out, never to be seen again. But he was able to reclaim his career, man, especially with the fantastic showing with the Vikings. And now a back-to-back fantastic showing here with the Seahawks, leading them to a Super Bowl. I mean, the Patriots win it had to be 24-21. But honestly, I really don't see. I just don't imagine the game playing out in that way. I really don't. And y'all know I'm a big fan of Drake Maye, man. Drizzy Drake Maye. I'm a big fan. He definitely won me over. I was not a Drake Maye. I wasn't high on Drake Maye as a prospect coming in at all. And I've been honest and upfront about that. But watching him play ball, man, especially toward the latter half of that last year and then this year, the way he's played and showed himself, kid's a stud, kid's a star. But I just don't see it happening. I'm telling you, it's my Allen Iverson Sixers going against the Shaq and Kobe Lakers all over again, man. I think it's just too much to handle, too much to deal with. He's just outgunned. I realistically just don't imagine the Patriots getting this done. And actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put an official score prediction up here. I'm going to go Seattle 34, Patriots 23. Then we're going to go Seattle 34, Patriots 23 to get this done, to win this game, to be Super Bowl champion. Sam the Man Darnold caps off a fantastic 2-year run in which he's really reclaimed his own career. And I think he gets it done. He gets a Super Bowl ring for the Seattle Seahawks. And this is a classic Super Bowl rematch. Now, these two teams are completely new coaching staffs, new players, all that stuff. But this is a rematch of one of the more legendary Super Bowls of this millennium, of the 2000s. We're talking, of course, about the infamous Russell Wilson and Legion of Boom Seahawks, Marshawn Lynch, of course, versus the Tom Brady Patriots in that second dynasty run for the Patriots there. We're talking about the goal line interception of Malcolm Butler to end that game, passing up the opportunity for Marshawn Lynch to punch in, which should have been a game-winning touchdown. So we know the fallout of that. There was a budding Seattle dynasty in the works there. Their second Super Bowl in a row after completely dominating Peyton Manning's Broncos in the Super Bowl before. Imagine the outlook or how that we would look or view those Seattle teams from the mid-2000s, right? Imagine they completely blow out and dominate Peyton Manning, right? One of the top 3 quarterbacks in the history of this league. They dominate him in that Super Bowl. Then imagine the next year they don't get too cute on the goal line. They give the ball to Marshawn Lynch. He punches it in for a game-winning touchdown, and then they start. That's the birth of a true Seahawks dynasty in which they got back-to-back Super Bowls versus Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, the 2 best quarterbacks in the history of football, right? Imagine if that's how they start that. Now, instead, also in this alternate reality for Seattle, right? Well, now that team, the outlook of that team that team doesn't splinter and break apart. And I'm talking more so in the locker room than anything. Now, pieces began to move and, guys move and new names and new places and faces, so things happen, but that locker room splintered and never recovered, right? from that loss and from the fallout of that. Now imagine we give that ball to Marshawn Lynch, he punches it in, and now we're back-to-back Super Bowl champions, taking down the two greatest quarterbacks to ever play football in consecutive years, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. And now imagine, like, with that team, the way they were constructed, the way they were built, the camaraderie that team had right prior to those incidents or that incident, like, who knows what could have been there? Like, that could have been a legit, like, I don't know if they get 3. I'm not saying that. I don't know if they get 3. But just thinking back to that time, that LOB Seahawks, prime Richard Sherman, prime Cam Chancellor, prime Earl Thomas, we forget. And it's a shame, man, how Earl Thomas's career ended up playing out. Earl Thomas, and I don't know how to shake out, Earl Thomas was a Hall of Famer. Earl Thomas was on that style of dominant trajectory. Earl Thomas reset the prototype for free safety. You know what I mean? And I know it fizzled out bad. Like I said, everything that happened in Seattle. And then, of course, he left there. He had some bad reviews, man. He had some, and I'm not here to downplay him, man, because he was a fantastic player. But I know his time in Baltimore was less than ideal. I mean, just there were a lot of issues going on with Earl Thomas, but I don't know if it takes away from what he was and what he did and what he was in Seattle, like in that time, in that run, man. I mean, like I said, he reset the prototype. I think every so often that we see a player come into the league that kind of resets the prototype. Von Miller was a player like that. Von Miller reset the prototype at edge again. Like and not to say he was the first, but Von Miller kind of came back in and reset what we look for in the edge, man. That dominant, athletic, wide 9. You know what I'm saying? Like he really kind of brought that back to the forefront, I feel, and really was just completely special, dominant style player. Earl Thomas did that again for like that dominant, rangy, hard hitting center field safety, man. I mean, a guy that can cover 40 yards downfield, sideline to sideline, and also come up and fill the C gap with authority. You know what I mean? I'm talking about will fill in the run game almost like Bob Sanders, but then also still having the ranginess and the speed and athleticism and just the IQ to really, just really secure the deep middle of the field by himself, a la an Ed Reed. You know what I mean? Like, that's what Earl Thomas was. And then, of course, you had Richard Sherman completely isolating a whole half of the football field. I'm talking about prime Aaron Rodgers, right? Prime Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams, man, those guys, Greg Jones, right? Those guys not even taking an attempt on the half of field that Richard Sherman was on. And everybody want to say this, well, he's playing zone, he's not playing man, he's not following. I don't want to hear about none of that, man. Because for one, if you know enough ball anyway, cover 3 turns into man. Cover 3 essentially turns into man 1. It more or less. Because especially when you're the guy on the backside and you're on the backside one receiver side, the backside 3 the backside 3 is essentially locks. He's still playing top. He's still playing high shoulder leverage for sure, but he's locking. Now, is he going to maybe chase a guy 60 yards across the field? No, well, then probably not. But if you got to run 60 yards worth of route to get from this sideline to the other sideline to get open and get a catch, man, you can have that one. You know what I mean? Because the time it takes to do all of that. So I'm not holding none of that. Guys avoid it. Whereas a guy like Revis, right, who was fantastic. I'm not here to knock Revis. Whereas Revis could take away one player. Richard Sherman took away a half of the field. Yeah, man, I don't want to hear it, man. Sherman's a GOAT. Sherman's a GOAT. Cam Chancellor, Bam Bam Cam, come on, man. Breaking boys' spirits, breaking grown men's spirits in the middle of the field. Like Bobby Wagner, young Bobby Wagner, that defensive front as well. Michael Bennett, one of the more, one of those guys, man, where the stats didn't always show his impact, right? So the stats didn't necessarily show his impact. Complete stud. Cliff Averill, his running mate on the other side. I mean, those teams were loaded, man. Those teams were loaded. And so they very well, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say they win Super Bowl 3, win Super Bowl 4. I definitely think they go back. They take another return trip back for sure. They take a return trip back, right? And so shortly thereafter, we see the Falcons. Matter of fact, the Falcons defeated the Seahawks, I want to say, that next year to go to the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. That was either that next year or 2 years after. So they still were in the mix. But like I said, man, that locker room, that team, that camaraderie, there were things that they lost a lot of steam and momentum, man, on that goal line with the interception by Malcolm Butler for sure. So it's definitely still one of those what ifs, man. Definitely still one of those what ifs for me. But I think I've got to go with the Patriots. I've got to go with the Seahawks in this one. Like I said, I just think this is the Shaq and Kobe, the 0-1 Shaq and Kobe Lakers versus MVP Allen Iverson in those 76ers, man. This is the way I see this matchup. I think AI may go out there and get himself a bucket or two, but when it's all said and done, man, this feels more like 1-on-5. It's starting to feel a lot more like 1-on-5. And I don't mean to be disrespectful to Stephon Diggs. I'm a huge Stephon Diggs fan. I have been for years. I'm not knocking Diggs, but this ain't 2018 Diggs either. You know what I mean? Respectfully. And he's coming back off a major injury, but he's OG now. You know what I mean? He's the OG veteran in the bunch, in the group. And so, he's not that same guy. Keyshawn Butte is, a young guy that's shown that he can make plays, right? He's went toe for toe with Derek Stingley and he got himself some buckets, right? But, he's still a young guy, still making his way. Mac Hollins is one of those he's the trash man. He's the junk man in the group, right? He's the Draymond of that receiving core. And I don't mean that to be I'm not meaning that in a disrespectful way. You know what I mean? I'm not meaning it that way, but he's the guy that does a lot of the dirty work. He's the Rodman. He's the Draymond. And so, Ramondre Stevenson is a serviceable back when he's not putting the ball on the ground, right? Trayvon Henderson, explosive young rookie running back who can, he can make some splash plays. They'll need it, but he's still a rookie. He's still finding his own way as well. You know what I mean? And so, it just really feels like they're outgunned, man. They're just outgunned. I've got to go with the Seahawks in this one, 34-23 for sure. Now, of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about some of the other news in the league over this weekend. Hold on here. Yeah, some of the other news in the league over this weekend. We had the NFL Honors Awards ceremony, and of course, highlighted by the announcement of the 2025. You know what? I'm sorry, I put 2026. Let me fix that. It's 2026, but it's the 2025 NFL season MVP. Rams quarterback Matt Stafford is the 2025 official MVP of the league. Edges out the young stud rookie Drake Maye by 1 vote. And this is the thing about it, man. Matt Stafford is fantastic. I was a big Matt Stafford fan in Detroit, right? And it's a lot of folks. And my dog Chop, you're not on the show this today because I would love to call you out right now. I debated for some years about Matt Stafford and his viability and the quality of his quarterback play as a Detroit Lion prior to him getting to the Rams. And then now, of course, in a better situation, now the talent and the ability that he had in a poor Detroit Lions organization for all those years, well, now those things are being seen in a different light. And it's like, no, this is always the quarterback that Matt Stafford's been, man. He was just in a poorly run and executed organization in the Detroit Lions. But he's always been the guy that we're seeing here now to a certain extent. Now he has grown and matured and increased his own just knowledge, wisdom comes with age, right? But he's more or less always been this guy. How many and so this I think getting this MVP definitely gets Matt Stafford over the hump, and he's going to get into the into the Hall of Fame one day. Because I think just the way he's concluded his career, this is going to be his second Super Bowl appearance in 3 years? His second Super Bowl appearance in 3 or 4 years now. A league MVP, right? He led the league in passing this year. So this is probably going to get him into the Hall. I think it's probably going to get him there. But I don't understand how we can qualify him as the most valuable player in the league over Drake Maye. Drake Maye had to do much more heavier lifting than Matt Stafford did. And he took his team farther. Now, it's a regular season award for sure. But even in the regular season, he took his team further. He was the 2 seed in the NFL, or in the AFC, right? The Rams and Matt Stafford were the 5 seed in the NFC. So he took his team farther. And his team isn't an all-star team. The Rams are a baby all-star team, man. You got to call a spade a spade. Rams are a baby all-star team, right? We know Matt Stafford, who he is. We've got Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua is, if not for JSN, and Puka was a little banged up this year, and they think he started a little slow, arguably he's still arguably the best receiver in football. Like, there's a real 3 or 4-headed race. And speaking for this year, a 2-headed race, right? Him and JSN. Where I think JSN definitely came out and took the league by storm right out the gate. And then Sam Darnold in that offense, they kind of slowed down, lost a little pace, kind of toward the end of the season. But no. And then I think Puka, especially like I said, was a little banged up kind of earlier in the year. But once he really came back and hit his footing and found his ground, unguardable, unstoppable, right? No, he's guardable, but he was unstoppable. That's the difference. I think JSN is unguardable. Puka Nacua is just unstoppable. You know what I mean? But no, man. And then Devontae Adams. I think missed 3-4 games. He missed about a quarter of the season this year. Led the league in touchdowns, right? Completely damn near unguardable in the red zone for a good stretch of this year before he got injured as well. And then, of course, you've got the mad scientists. You know, you've got Sean McVay on the sideline. We know how the reputation he has in this league. Anybody attached to him in any form or facet gets a head coaching job. That's what it feels like. Anybody who's spent time in the room with Sean McVay gets a head coaching opportunity somewhere. Look at Mike LaFleur down in Arizona, whatever. You know what I mean? But so we know what's going on there. And then, you know, they're still building that defense, but they've got a lot of nice young pieces on that defense, particularly in the defensive front. Jared Verse, Brandon Fisk, Kobe Turner, right? Byron Young has turned into a nice complimentary rusher. You know, he had as strange as it is to say, he had a quiet, 10, 11, 12 sacks this year, right? I like their secondary. I really like Cam Kitchens. I like Cam Curl as well. Now their corner room is softer, it's weaker, but that's a veritable relative all-star team by comparison to what the Drake Maye's dealing with in the Patriots. I didn't even mention Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. The Rams are, I think, the number 1 rushing offense in the league, or one of the top. If not number 1, I want to say they were like a top 3 rushing team in this league. So, yeah, Matt Stafford's a baller, right? He led the league in pure yards and I think passing touchdowns. But in every other measurable facet, Drake Maye was better and did more with less. Drake Maye did more with less. Is it like the Rams were, I think they finished they were a 12 or 13 win team, but that was a 12 or 13 win roster. Drake Maye was the 2 seed in the AFC, won 13 or 14 games with the same roster that won 3 games the year before. Come on, man. What are we doing? What are we saying? Don't tell me a guy who took a team, and he was the quarterback on that 3-win team last year. So a guy that went from 3 wins to 10 wins the next year with the same roster, damn near. He's not more valuable to a guy that goes from 12 to 13 with an all-star cast around him, with arguably the best offensive mind in football, pulling the strings. He's more valuable. What do we imagine? Do we imagine Drake Maye is unsuccessful if he switches places with Matt Stafford? Who goes further if we switch places? Because we see what Matt Stafford looked like when he's pressured. He's 38, 39, he's a 37, 38-year-old man. He's not able to move and evade. He can't live and survive in that Patriots backfield with Will Campbell. Shout out to the rookie Will Campbell, man. I hate to have to take a shot at you, but I got to call a spade a spade. With the turnstile that Will Campbell's been for the greater majority of this season, Matt Stafford doesn't get that Patriots team to this weekend. Regardless of how great he is, how fantastic his career turned out, he doesn't get this same Patriots team to the Super Bowl, man. I have no reason to believe that Drake Maye doesn't get that same Rams team here. And maybe they do it more comfortably. Because Matt Stafford had trouble with those damn Chicago Bears and that pass rush and them getting after him. Matt Stafford had his issues in Carolina when they were able to muddy up that pocket, get after him a little bit. So don't tell me that Matt Stafford was the most valuable player in football this year. No way. No way. No way was he more valuable than Drake Maye. Drake Maye was the MVP this year. But that's, I'll get off my soapbox. I'll get off, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. It is what it is. Now, here's the thing that pisses me off. He won by one vote. There's 50 votes, right? And the final tally for the MVP award were 24 votes for Matt Stafford, 23 votes for Drake Maye, 2 votes for Josh Allen. And I love me some Josh Allen. Y'all know how I'm rocking, man. I love me some Josh Allen. Josh Allen is, for my money, Josh Allen is number QB1 in this NFL. Now, maybe it's time to reevaluate that. But prior to this year, prior to Josh Allen being MVP, Josh Allen was the QB1 of this league in my mind. So I'm not here to hate on Josh Allen. In no way, in no world, in no form or fashion was Josh Allen deserving of an MVP vote this year. He just wasn't. He just wasn't. And then to make it worse, that wasn't the worst of it. To make it worse, Justin Herbert got a vote. Justin Herbert, who was not even on the final ballot for MVP. Justin Herbert wasn't on the final ballot. And honestly, if there were more than 2 names, because by the time we got to the end of the year, it was clear and obvious it should have been clear and obvious to anybody who's really watching and paying attention to this game that there's 2 guys in contention for this MVP. Now, if Matt Stafford was going to win this MVP by 1 vote, it should have been 20, or I guess he would have had to win by 2, 26-24, if he was going to edge this out. But in my mind, those 3 votes that went to Josh Allen and Justin Herbert belong to Drake Maye. Because the only reason you would vote for Josh Allen and Justin Herbert is the argument that I've made for Drake Maye. Because they had, and I think Sam Munson, formerly of PFF, his big bald-headed stupid ass, excuse me, Sam Munson, I'm sorry, you ain't deserve that, bro. You ain't deserve that. You ain't deserve that. That was a little harsh, and I apologize. He came out and he stood on. He's like, "Hey man, I was the Justin Herbert vote." Well, then you robbed Drake Maye, because what you said about Justin Herbert overcoming issues with his offensive line, overcoming a lack of true tier 1 talent at the skill positions, that's valid. Now, why didn't that buy a vote for Drake Maye? How do we overlook Drake Maye for Justin Herbert? With that being the caveat for why he got your vote. I don't disagree that Justin Herbert did have to do a lot of heavy lifting. He definitely did. He lost his 2 all-pro style starting tackles, right? His left tackle week 1, his young second-year right tackle, the first quarter of the season. So I get it. He doesn't have a lot of tier 1 talent. They were on like the 4th string running back for a large stretch of this season. Shout out to Kamani Vidal. I get it. He doesn't have tier 1 weaponry on the outside. Quentin Johnston reclaiming himself from the land of bust, even this early in his career. Ladd McConkey. I get it. Amarian Gatson, the tight end they found, who turned into who had a stretch for about 4 or 5 weeks there where he was a true stud at the tight end position. So I get it. I get what you're saying. But that argument and that wasted vote for Justin Herbert, that was a vote for Drake Maye. That was a vote for Drake Maye. And then Josh Allen, I love me some Josh Allen. I do. But now after this season, I got to reevaluate, because now Big Josh, I'm holding you to the same standard that I've held a guy like Justin Herbert. The talent's unquestionable, the talent's undeniable, but at a certain point, you got to get over the hump. Not getting over the hump this year, right? No Patty, no Lamar, no Joe Burrow, right? This is the year you get over the hump. This is the year you get here. This should be your weekend this weekend, Josh Allen. And honestly, I think you did get hosed in Denver. I think you're on the wrong side of more than a few bad calls and no calls in that Denver Bronco game. And I think some of them cost you that game. They really did. But it doesn't excuse the fact that you still didn't play your best ball, man. That game didn't even have to be close. That game didn't have to be close. We got a 10-point swing in the last 10 seconds going into halftime because you loose with the football, Josh Allen. A late fumble with 10 seconds left in the first half turns into so now you don't get a 7 you were shooting for, and you give them a free 3 right before half. And they came out and got the ball. No, then you came out and got the ball, then you turned the ball right over right out the half as well. That's another touchdown. Now, be that as it may, there was still an egregious pass interference against Riley Moss in the corner of the end zone against Brandon Cooks that should have put the ball at the 1 yard line, and we should be punching that in. Josh Allen QB sneak over the left side B gap guard. Touchdown. Y'all should still win. Y'all should have still won that game. For sure. So I'm not hating there, but it doesn't excuse the fact that, man, hey, look, when it's all said and done, you didn't get it done, big dog. And you definitely should have. And you didn't get it done. So I'll hold you to account. But no way you should have had 2 MVP votes. James Cook led the league in rushing this year. Was completely dominant. Fantastic this year. There were just as many games won on the legs of James Cook this year as there was on the arms of Josh Allen. So the 2 Josh Allen votes, those are Drake Maye votes. Because the reason you would vote for Josh, similar to the reasons that you would vote for Justin Herbert, are the reasons those 3 votes should have went to Drake Maye. Doesn't have fantastic weapons on the outside. That's the argument for Josh Allen. He's throwing to Keon Coleman, who the owner openly despises, who possibly the GM secretly despises, if we can believe what the owner had to say. He's in and out the lineup. He's a healthy scratch more times than not. And then when he's on the field, he's not giving us the production that we wanted when we drafted him in the round 1 out of Florida State. Then we've got Khalil Shakur, right? Who's probably closer to a wide receiver 3 on most rosters, but he's your de facto 1 on this Buffalo Bills team with Josh Allen. And then you got Brandon Cooks, the journeyman, right? All he does is travel and give you 1,000 yards. All he does is change teams and give you 1,000 yards, right? So that's the weaponry. Then we've got Dalton Kincaid, at the tight end position, and he's up and down, and he's injured and banged up. The other tight end, same thing. The offensive line in Buffalo is, they're solid. It's a solid offensive line, but the reasons you would vote for Josh Allen are the reasons you should have voted for Drake Maye. Those 3 votes are Drake Maye. Drake Maye won this MVP 26-24, man. 26-24. I'm upset. I can't lie about it. I'm upset. But Matt Stafford, man, kudos and shout out to Matt Stafford. I know I just did a whole bunch of dogging him, which seems like dogging him for, backhand compliment on his MVP. But no, Matt Stafford, like I said, man, I respect him. I do. He's a fantastic player. I am happy that he's finally getting his kudos and congratulations and his acknowledgement for, a lot of the things that he's done throughout the course of his career. But now it is one of those things, man, where the situation and the circumstance matter. Because he is exactly the same quarterback that he's been for the last 15 years. He just had to do it for the first 10 in Detroit, winning 3 to 5 games a year, probably on average. You know what I mean? That's all it was. But moving on, there was more than one award the other night. There was more than one award. So let's go over the rest of the winners. So of course we've got Matt Stafford. We beat that horse to death, man. We talked about, his win for the league MVP. Offensive player of the year was Jackson Smith and Jigba, wide receiver from the Seattle Seahawks, who'll be playing this afternoon for sure. And so kudos, congratulations there. I think well deserved. Like I said, he was fantastic. I think he was the most dominant offensive player in football this year. Defensive player of the year, unanimously so, Myles Garrett. Gifted the NFL sack record. I don't care. I don't give a damn. Whatever, man. That's an asterisk record. 23 sacks. He did not touch a man and was given a sack. I saw TJ Watt put his hands on a man, on a quarterback, and bring him down. Put his hands on a quarterback and bring him down and not be credited with a sack. Yet I've seen Myles Garrett not touch a quarterback, whine about it, and then be given a sack. Like that's I'm telling you, man. Between Bill Belichick not being voted into the Hall of Fame, Myles Garrett giving a phantom sack in which he didn't touch a man, in which we allowed that to be the breaking point for look here, man. For as prestigious of a record as that sack record is. Because guys were mad at Strahan saying that Brett didn't try to get a... Man, look, he had Brett Favre dead to rights. Man. Brett don't owe it to nobody to take a shot in the chin to make you feel better about that. He had him dead to rights. And you know what he did that Myles Garrett didn't do when he broke the record? Regardless of all the bitching everybody did about whether or not Brett just gave it to him because they're buddies, whatever that is, whatever that's supposed to mean, he put his hands on him. So I don't want to hear nobody complaining about Michael Strahan's like, no. He put his hands on him. That's what he did. Myles Garrett didn't even do that. But he's your defensive player of the year and the official sack leader for the history of football. Congratulations. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Ted McMillan, rookie receiver from the Carolina Panthers. And I think deserved. I think when I was going through my own records, I went back and forth with him and Jackson Dart. I end up going with Jackson Dart, and the reason being is that Jackson Dart. Now it was more so kind of a two-headed monster there. Him and Cam Scatterbo, right when they were rocking and rolling, when they were the Bash brothers, the young white crash outs, man, for the Giants. It's crazy as that sounds. I don't mean that to be disrespectful. I mean it to be in fun. But like they were the young crash outs, man. And so during that time where they were Jackson Dart, of course, and then Cam Scatterbo, you know what I mean? But there was a moment where like they were the story of the league. Jackson Dart was the story of the league for, you know, the first half of this year. And so, you know, I kind of held on to that, man. Now, his year didn't end the way it started. Now, of course, also he loses Cam Scatterbo. He had already lost Malik Neighbors in the first series of when he came into his very first game. You know what I mean? So he still had to do a lot of heavy lifting in that way. But I gave him credit for a lot of that. But Ted McMillan winning, I'm not at all upset about that. 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns as the number one his rookie year for a Carolina Panthers team that rallied, won a division, and gave the Rams everything. The Rams who were a game away from the Super Bowl, gave them everything they can handle, in a divisional playoff game. So I'm not mad at that at all. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Carson Swessinger, the inside linebacker from the Cleveland Browns. I had also gave my award to Carson Swessinger way back when I went over it, but I do think the voting, it was pretty one-sided. You know, I think a guy like Xavier Watts, the young safety in Atlanta, I think he had a real claim for this award as well. I think he had 90 tackles and 5 interceptions, something like that. Fantastic performance. Carson Swessinger definitely, I think he was one of the league leaders in tackles. I think he finished like top 5 in tackles as a rookie, led the Browns team with roughly 150 tackles. Now, tackles are always a subjective stat, just the way they're counted and etc. But he was a fantastic player. So I don't hate the award for Carson Swessinger either. Same like I feel with Ted McMillan. And I gave my own award to Carson Swessinger as well. But if you tell me that Xavier Watts should have been Defensive Rookie of the Year, I won't argue with you too hard. If you make a case for Nick Emenwari, the talented safety from Seattle that's playing today, like I said, man, I won't tell you you're crazy. I won't at all. So I think all three of those guys could have been deserving, but Carson Swessinger, the linebacker from Cleveland, wins the award. Protector of the Year, essentially to the Offensive Lineman of the Year. And I'm happy they've added this type of award, man, because the guys in the trenches, they don't get they don't get enough recognition for the job that they do. And this one, I think this is the inaugural award for this award for the offensive lineman. The Protector of the Year went to Joe Thuney, the do-it-all lineman for Chicago, Super Bowl champion with the Patriots, All-Pro there. Lees goes to Kansas City, signs the highest offensive guard contract in the history of the league at the time when he went to Kansas City. Won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs, do-it-all player there. We saw in that Super Bowl run, the year in which they lost to the Eagles, he moved from left guard to left tackle for, I want to say, through the playoff run and maybe even the last game or so of the regular season. And he was viable as a left tackle now. He was viable. He really was. Now, he got abused in that Super Bowl against the Eagles and that talented defensive front, but still, he's playing out of position and going against the best defense in football. And so, it is what it is. But damn good player. Chiefs, in a relatively surprising move, they trade him to the Bears this offseason, and he was a stud there. An All-Pro at that left guard position. He also flexed out and played left tackle in some key games and some key stretches for the Bears as well. And so I definitely think Joe Thuney was the perfect choice for this inaugural Protector of the Year award. And so kudos, congratulations there. Coach of the Year went to Mike Vrabel. I don't hate that as well. When I did my own Coach of the Year, I said there's 5 or 6 legitimate candidates for Coach of the Year this year. Mike Vrabel being one of them, coming back home to the Patriots, returning home, long time, part of that original Super Bowl dynasty there. Goes back home in his first year, taking over a team that was 3-14 the year before, and now they're 13-4 and playing in the Super Bowl. That speaks for itself. I'm not mad at all about Mike Vrabel winning that award, his second. And y'all should know I've been rocking with Mike Vrabel for some years now as well, man. I was a big fan of him in Tennessee and the job he did there. Hated the decision to get him out of there. But, we see that everything happens the way it should, man. So he's Coach of the Year. I think when my personal award, I gave it to Kyle Shanahan. Seeing as competitive as that Niners team was, what he had to deal with, he lost his 3 best players on it. Well, he lost his 3 best players, but he probably lost 8 starters between on offense and defense on this team, including his starting quarterback, his top 2 defensive players, and Fred Warner and Nick Bosa. Fred Warner, arguably the best stacked linebacker in football. Nick Bosa, a top 5 pass rusher in football. Both those guys gone. And your number 1 quarterback, Mac Jones, comes in, and you still find a way to win games. Trent Williams, the veteran OG tackle that he is, he's banged up. George Kittle in and out the lineup. He goes down in the playoff game. You lose him. Christian McCaffrey, a year off of missing essentially most of the entire last year, leaning heavy on him. Brandon Ayuk falling out with the team and not playing ball. I mean, everything that could have went wrong feels like it went wrong for the Niners. And they still found a way to be to make it to the divisional round. They won 12 games, and then they end up losing in the divisional against division rival and the team that ended up representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. So I went Kyle Shanahan with the award, but I'm not mad at all about Mike Vrabel making it to the Super Bowl with a 3-win team and a second-year quarterback with a rookie left tackle who's getting blown by, right? And with offensive weaponry that I would say a lot of teams, if I had to line out weapons for you, and I lined out Stephon Diggs, Mac Hollins, and Keyshawn Butte with Ramondre Stevenson, and I'll throw in Trayvon Henderson as well. I line up those 5 weapons against the 5 weapons. If we rank them, those 5 weapons against all the other top 5 weapons for every team in the league, they're going to be ranked somewhere closer to 20. They're going to be closer to 20 than they are to 10. You know what I mean? And so, accomplishing what this team did on the strength, and thanks in no small part to the MVP style performance from Drake Maye again, right? So I'm not mad about Coach Mike Vrabel winning that award at all, man. Well deserved. The Walter Payton Man of the Year was linebacker Bobby Wagner for the Commanders as well. So kudos and shout out to Bobby. And then the Moment of the Year, right? And I like this award as well. I think this award has been around for a few years now, but the Moment of the Year was Caleb Williams' touchdown pass in overtime against the Packers to DJ Moore. I think we talked about it when we recapped that game. one of the greatest plays, one of the greatest throws we've ever seen in the history of football. Caleb Mays gave us 3 of the top 10 throws we've ever seen in football, and he did it this year. I think legitimately, the pass to DJ Moore, that was the moment of the year, and this is a regular season award. Because we're not even talking about the playoff touchdown against the Rams to get that game to overtime. We're not even talking about that one. This is a regular season award. The throw to DJ Moore against Green Bay in overtime, the throw against the Rams to get that game to overtime, to Cole Kmet in the end zone. He had another fantastic, he had 2 fantastic throws in both those Packers games, right? 3 of the top 10 ever. I'm putting the top 3 passes that we've seen from Caleb Williams this year, I'm putting them in the 10 with Eli's pass and catch to David Tyree on his helmet. I'm putting it in there with Ben Roethlisberger's touchdown pass to Santonio Holmes in the right corner of the end zone against the Cardinals. I'm putting it in there with that. I'm putting it in there with Eli Manning on the left sideline to Mario Manningham in the other Patriots Giants Super Bowl. I'm putting it in there with that. I'm putting it in there with the best throw we've ever seen from Patrick Mahomes. You call it. We can pick whatever that throw is, because we know he's got one. I'm putting it in there with the very best throw we've seen Patrick Mahomes make. That's 7 of the 10. Those are 7 of the 10. Argue with your mama. Those are 7 of the 10, man. All right? If I think about it, I'll give y'all 3 more. But my point is, Caleb Williams has 3 of the 10 in year 2 of his career. So, yeah, that's fantastic. That's phenomenal. I can't wait to see how this run or this stretch of career plays out for Caleb Williams and those Bears for sure, with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, young coach, young quarterback, both of them gunslingers, both of them super aggressive, both of them display the ultimate style of confidence. Like, I want to see how they continue to grow and evolve together, because I'm telling you, man, those Bears teams now, this Bears team can do something special. And then, matter of fact, I ain't even checked these comments. Sis was in there, said, put the comments up. I missed it. You show, right? Well, another thing, too, because apparently the stream wasn't showing up on YouTube because I had folks kept texting me and asking me about the show. I guess folks were saying that I wasn't showing up as live on YouTube. I did have some little technical stuff going on, so I didn't know what the issue was. But okay, it looks like it's showing up here now. I see my dog, Pretty Tony the Painter, in the building. Man, what's going on? He said, yeah, it was a historical ball. Would have been better if they won that damn game. But they should have went for 2. I ain't gonna lie. As aggressive as they had shown to be, Ben Johnson coming from Dan Campbell and those Lions, you know what I mean? A part of me was like, man, they fool around, go for 2. And riding as high in the moment as they were, you know what I mean? Like, in that moment at the crib, the man it was like a 54-yard touchdown pass. It traveled like 54 yards of air travel for a 14-yard touchdown, man. Think about it. The man had to run damn near 40 yards backwards to evade the Rams pass rusher, and then threw a dime in the left corner of the end zone to Cole Kmet. Come on, man. Man, yeah, man. Yeah, that was crazy, bro. That was crazy. That was crazy. Man, I'm telling you. Like, that could have been, man, yeah, that'd have been nuts. But I ain't gonna lie, because they had been living on the edge. They had been living so rough on the edge that, like, I'm not even mad at them. Like, I can see it. Where Ben Johnson was like, hey, man, all right, we done tempted fate enough. We didn't play it around with this too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, let's kick this field goal. Let's, you know what I'm saying? Like, even Ben Johnson had to take a moment to be like, yeah, you know what? Let me chill, man. Let's chill. We didn't already pushed it enough. They put themselves in that position because of the aggressiveness that they had played with all year, and they continued it. They passed up they passed up 2 or 3 field goals in the first half of that game, man. They passed up 2 field goals for sure in the first half, and then they also went for it on 4th down inside their own 40 3 times in the first half. So they did what they did what they had always done, dug themselves in an improbable hole, and then find a way to climb out. Only this time they fell short. And they fell short in overtime. You know what I mean? And so if they've got and I'm talking player and coach, Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson, they've got to find the line. You know what I mean? Like, they've got to find in and hone in that line of aggression, because there's a certain point where aggressive turns to stupid. It's a fine line where aggressive will turn to stupid real fast. Aggressive will turn to unnecessary real fast. You know what I mean? And so they've got to hone in that line, both of them. You know what I'm saying? A second-year QB and a first-year head coach. So they're both growing together. So if they are able to, fine-tune that and find that balance, then they're going to give the NFC hell for a long while. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I can't wait to see how that turns out, though, man. Because they've got something cooking there. They've got something brewing for sure. But yeah, those are, man. See this, Chop. Where you at, Chop? This is where I need because I'm trying to tell you guys, I'm trying to think of 3 more passes that could qualify as the top 10 we've ever seen. I gave us 7. I think the 7 I gave us, I feel damn good about. The 7 I gave us, I feel damn good about. Man, do I want to say Randall Cunningham from his own end zone end up being like a 90-yard touchdown pass? Was that Harold Carmichael? A catch and run. I think he's like a 60-yard pass. Yeah, I'm putting right now while I'm thinking, I'm putting that Randall Cunningham pass in there where he had to evade the pass rusher, where he had to like duck down, have a dude fly over him, like, and you know what I'm saying? They used to call him Gumby. You know what I mean? And so he evades a sack, squeezes, gets out of one, and throws a 60-yard laser to, I want to say, Harold Carmichael, who catches and turns up and is able to outrun the defense, and that ends up being like a 90-yard touchdown. I'll put Randall in there. That's 8. I need 2 more. I'm too close to 10 now not to finish that out. I got to. I'll put that Randall Cunningham one in there right now until I get a better suggestion or a better thought comes to mind. I need 2 more. I mean, there's an argument that says, Joe Montana to hold on, let me think. Joe Montana in the sea of hands. But see, but that wasn't like it was a fantastic catch, and it was a difficult throw. He's on his back foot. He kind of lobs one over, that's able, and then the old boy's able to go up and get it. But, just on its own, pure wow factor, that throw doesn't wow me, though. You know what I mean? It's not a wow throw. Man, this is going to bother me. I got to think. I know I'm missing some of these OGs, man. I ain't trying to be disrespectful to you. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to be disrespectful to the OGs. Elway. I know Elway's had to have had one as well. I'm thinking about, we've seen. No. Brett Favre. My guy. Hold on. Brett Favre. Brett Favre probably got 2. With the Packers and one with the Vikings. I want to say, was that Sidney Rice, a 60-yard laser after avoiding pass rush, and threw a 60-yard laser to Sidney Rice, I want to say, running the back line, going from left to right in the end zone for a touchdown. Was that Sidney Rice? Or was it Bernard Berrien? Whomever. That Brett Favre throw, that's in there. So that's 9. And then Brett had another one. I want to say it was the game he played after his daddy died, where his daddy died and then he played at Monday Night Football. He ended up throwing for like 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, I believe. And he had a crazy ass 60 yard. I don't know if anybody's thrown a prettier 60-yard laser than Brett Favre in the history of football. I'm talking about 60 yards on a rope on the money. When he was on the money, you know what I mean? Because he'll give you one and he'll take one away. But yeah, I'm putting those two Brett Favre passes to come to mind, man. Those are the 10 greatest single passes in the history of football. The 10 single greatest passes in the history of football. I did it. I might have to make a reel of some content about that, man, so y'all can see what I'm talking about if y'all don't know I'm offhand. And then also, of course, now that the link appears to be working, you know what I'm saying? Now that it looks like the link is working, it's up. You know what I'm saying? If y'all got some predictions on this Super Bowl game, now drop them in the chat. I want to know who y'all got. I want to know who y'all riding with for the Super Bowl. I'm going to put my score back up. I am taking Seattle, going 34-23, man. I think it's going to be, and Miles, I don't know if you was in here, man, because I know the link was tripping, man. I was having technical difficulties. But I compared this Super Bowl matchup to the Shaq and Kobe Lakers from 2001, that being the Seahawks, and then New England and Drizzy Drake Maye. Drake Maye's MVP AI, dog. This is MVP Allen Iverson going up against the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. You know what I mean? That's how this one feels to me, dog. You know what I'm saying? AI is the MVP because Drake Maye should have been the MVP. But he's going up against a top to bottom, just dominant team and roster in those Shaq and Kobe Lakers, man. I just don't think he just don't have the guns, but I think he's outgunned. So I'm taking Seattle to win this one, man. 34-23 is where I'm rocking. But yeah, y'all give me some scores now. What y'all got? Who y'all taking to win the game and give me a score? And while y'all thinking about that, we also do have to talk about the Hall of Fame class. Now, we did talk about, of course, the major news that came out, a week or so ago, where it was leaked or it came out that Bill Belichick was not going to be a Hall of Famer on his first ballot, right? And for a lot of reasons, I'm not here to argue that he didn't cheat. He cheated. So did Tom Brady. And unless y'all gonna block Tom, I don't want to hear it. We didn't take away those Super Bowls, so I don't want to hear it. Don't be a hoe about it now. If we was mad enough about it, they should have took away one of those Super Bowls then. They didn't have them recount those Super Bowls. They took away Reggie Bush's Heisman. Did they take away Tom Brady's Super Bowl MVP? They did not. Did they make everybody turn them rings back in? They did not. So don't cry about it now, man. That's all I'm saying. Don't cry about it now. But let's talk. We talked enough about the guy who didn't get in. Let's go ahead and talk about the guys who did get in. Drew Brees made it in. I have mixed feelings about it. But Drew Brees did get in, man. And the stats tell that story. And you know what? In fairness, I think he's got to get in. I think Drew Brees was the second quarterback in history to have a 5,000-yard passing season, second to Dan Marino. Dan Marino was the only guy in the history of football to have a 5,000-yard passing season. He did it in 1984. Come on, man. Stop playing. He did it in 1984. We didn't have another one for 25 years until Sean Payton and Drew Brees figured out if you throw 304-yard slants a game, you can throw for 5,000 yards. It's all good. But Drew Brees has, 4 of those seasons? I think now 5,000 isn't the, it's not the, it's still a fantastic mark for sure. I don't think anybody threw for 5,000 this year. So it is still a fantastic mark. But now it's been done enough now to where, it's impressive, but it's not, just like anything, man. It doesn't have that same, for lack of a better word, I'm say shock value, right? And so I think there's been 7 5,000-yard seasons in the history of football. And I think Drew Brees has 4 of them. You know what I mean? So that's historic. That's historic. It really is. It really is. So Drew Brees made it. Roger Craig, member of the San Francisco 49ers, their dynasty from the late 80s, early 90s, he made it. Roger Craig, and I'm not mad about this either. Roger Craig was the first running back to go for 1,000 and 1,000, right? So he was the first. He was the first version of that dual purpose back. In more modern or recent times, what we know and love and revere Marshall Faulk for, because Marshall Faulk, I believe, was the second guy to do that. But the first guy to do it was Roger Craig, running back from those dynasty San Francisco 49ers years. And so he makes it in. And I think it's warranted as well. I do. And now Roger Craig individually, just as a runner, maybe not. You know what I mean? Maybe not. But what he did, what he accomplished, like his place in this league, like, it's hard to tell the story of the league and his name not come up because he was a vital piece of Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Johnny Taylor, like Bill Walsh, like that first Niners Super Bowl dynasty. He was a critical part of that. And he has historical significance while being a part of a historically significant team in championship dynasty, right? The first guy to give you 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving. And in a time in which the league wasn't pass happy. You know what? I wonder how many yards that Joe Montana threw for the year in which Roger Craig had 1,000 yards receiving. Because I'm not sure if Joe Montana has a 4,000 yard season. I'm not sure if Joe Montana ever threw for 4,000 yards. I've got to think about it now. I'm not sure that he has. Honestly, I'm not sure that he has. Or if he did, maybe he had one. If the over-under on 4,000 yard seasons for Joe Montana is 2.5, I'm taking the under. So in a year in which Joe Montana may have only thrown for 3,700 yards, 1,000 of those went to Roger Craig. Come on, man. This is a team that had Jerry Rice and Johnny Taylor. So, I mean, hey, man, let's think, so kudos and congratulations to him, man. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of those guys where just maybe on the pure statistical merit of his stats and even his ability, I think there's definitely, more talent to just pure runners that we've seen, you know what I mean? And I'm not taking shots at Roger Craig. Like I said, OG, I do think there's a couple avenues that I think make you a viable Hall of Famer. Flat out historical significance is one of those. And I think being the first guy to do something. And I think, because how many running backs have won 1,000 and 1,000? Now that I'm talking about it. We've had Roger Craig. We've had Marshall Faulk. We've had Christian McCaffrey. Le'Veon Bell came close, but I think Le'Veon Bell had like 850 receiving yards. And I think he missed 2 games that season. So he was on the verge. But is it just those 3? Who else has won 1,000 and 1,000? Dog. It may just be those 3. So like I said, man, historical significance. He's a champion, and he was a critical piece of a championship team, a championship run, championship dynasty. So yeah, I'm not mad at Roger Craig at all, man. Kudos, congratulations to Roger Craig, running back from the San Francisco 49ers. Larry Fitzgerald, longtime receiver for the Arizona Cardinals. And here's the thing about Larry Fitzgerald, which is funny. When Larry was playing, he was regarded as a clear and obvious MVP, right? Excuse me. But after Larry retired, it feels like, people kind of cooled off on Larry's Hall of, excuse me. It feels like, kind of the temperature had cooled on Larry's Hall of Fame viability. Like, it almost kind of started to feel like he was going to get, like Chris Carter a little bit. Where like, we go back and then we start to kind of go back and look back over and nitpick his career. And maybe that wasn't a good example. And I say that because Chris Carter also wasn't necessarily a physical specimen, but he made his name with just fantastic hands. Chris Carter and Larry Fitzgerald have 2 of the best 3 sets of hands that have ever played football. If you're asking me the greatest just pure hands in the history of the football, I'm going to say Jerry Rice. Argue with your mama, I don't give a damn what you say. Jerry Rice, Chris Carter, and Larry Fitzgerald. Those would be 1 through 3. And then if we had to round out 4 and 5, honestly, I think DeAndre Hopkins has an argument, has a case to be in that conversation. We forget There was a stretch in which DeAndre Hopkins didn't drop a pass for like 6 seasons or something crazy like that. You know what I mean? Like, I think Hop, when it's all said and done, man, I think he warrants that conversation. He warrants, maybe some type of recognition in that way, man. I think he kind of warrants some type of recognition in that way. Then, we can get into Randy Moss. I think, Randy, D-Hop. Like, I think Randy and D-Hop definitely in the top 10. You know what I mean? But if you take top 5, top 3, Jerry, Chris Carter, Larry Fitzgerald, for my money, for sure. And we forget that Super Bowl run that the Cardinals went on with resurgent Kurt Warner. They fell short to my Steelers in what is still a top 3 Super Bowl of all time. We've got 2 of the top 5 plays in Super Bowl history. 2 of the top 5 plays in Super Bowl history happened in my Super Bowl. The Santonio Holmes touchdown catch from Ben Roethlisberger in the corner of the end zone, and the James Depot Harrison 100-yard pick 6 with no time left in the half, right? And running that thing back, 100-yard pick 6 with no time remaining to score a touchdown right there before halftime. Those are 2 of the top 5 greatest plays in Super Bowl history. Those 2, and this isn't in this particular order, but those 2, Eli Manning to David Tyree, the helmet catch. The Philly reverse pass to Nick Foles in the end zone against the Patriots. It was only like a 6 or 7 yard touchdown pass, but that's an all-time Super Bowl play. Philly, the original Philly to Nick Foles. I'm gonna give y'all one more. Because we can say, like I said, man, that Eli Manning pass on the left sideline of Mario Manningham, bro, is one of the greatest passes of all time. That is in consideration. You could say, some people might say the Julian Edelman catch, the tipped pass, and he catches it off his fingertips in the Super Bowl against the Falcons. It's part of that historic Super Bowl comeback from 28-3. Maybe you want to put that in there. I'm trying to think now. Hold on, now I'm thinking. I think those are all. I think those are all warrant consideration. But 2 of the top 5 are against Larry Fitzgerald in his Super Bowl appearance, his lone Super Bowl appearance against my Steelers for sure. You know what I mean? So I'm not mad at Larry there, man. I'm not mad at all. And then Larry Fitzgerald, I think also over his career, he's got a crazy stat. I think Larry Fitzgerald finished his career. He has more tackles than he does drop passes. Think about that. I think Larry Fitzgerald has like 11 tackles in his career or something like that. So like tackling guys on interceptions or fumbles. I think he has like 11 tackles and like 7 career drops, like official career drops. That's crazy. That's crazy. So Larry Legend, you know what I'm saying? Welcome to the hall, big dog. Well deserved. And then, of course, come on, man. Come on, Luke. Come on, Luke. Luke Kuechly, man. Luke Kuechly, for my money. My dog Miles in here, matter of fact. So he probably know how I'm rocking, man. For my money, Luke Kuechly is in the conversation as the greatest linebacker in history football. Now Ray gets that title. Ray's the guy, man. You know what I mean? Ray's like for a lot of us, I think Ray Lewis is cemented as the GOAT. So it's like Jerry Rice. If I'm talking receivers, I don't have to mention Jerry in conversation because he's one of the guys now, man. So we can take him out of it. So when I start debating receivers, Jerry's already set apart. I'm only talking Randy Moss, T.O., A.B. You know what I mean? Like that's the conversation because Jerry's Jerry. When I'm talking linebackers, Ray Lewis, he's the Jerry Rice of linebacker. He's the guy, man. So he's out of here. I ain't got to talk about Ray. So when I talk linebackers, I'm talking Luke Kuechly, Patrick Willis. Those 2 for me. You know what I mean? Those 2, that's 1B and 1C. You know what I mean? And I go back and forth, 2A and 2B, however we want to call it, man. But Luke Kuechly, man, one of my all-time favorites, man. I don't know if there's anybody just on both sides of the game, passing and run defense, right? I think in coverage, Luke Kuechly is arguably one of the greatest cover linebackers to ever play football. I mean, he's in that top 5. Him, Derek Brooks, Jack Ham, and Jack Lambert. Now, we forget Jack Lambert and Ham from my Steelers in the 70s. Both of those guys were fantastic in coverage. Both those guys have 20 or 30 interceptions. That's an exclusive list of stacked linebackers with that type of turnover production in the pass game. You know what I mean? And so if we talking pass coverage linebackers, prime Levante David, you know what I mean? Like those are the 5 names that come to mind for me. You know what I mean? But Luke is definitely a special guy. He only played for 8 years? I think in 8 seasons, he had 7 All-Pros. 5 of them, I think, were first team. Defensive Player of the Year. Come on, man. Come on, Luke. One of those guys, man. So I'm no problems there. And then, of course, Adam Vinatieri, longtime kicker for the New England Patriots. Really the catalyst for the first Patriots Super Bowl run, man. That's what I said. We rewrite history. Oh, man, hold on, man. My dog, Day One Gang Jarrell in the building. I'd have missed you, dog. Hold on, man. My dog, Day One Gang Jarrell, that snuck in here. He said, what's the deal, RBT Fam? Hey, what's going on, man? My dog, Day One Gang Jarrell in the building. I appreciate you, big dog. And you know what? Hey, I'm glad you. Hey, man. Hey, I appreciate you, homeboy. That's why you Day One Gang Jarrell. Hold me accountable, dog. Man, look, and you know what, Day One Gang Jarrell? Miles, I'm going to call you out. Miles is my linebacker brethren. My dog Miles Tony Pretty, he played linebacker with me back in the day. Miles, you gonna let me over? We talking linebackers. How you not gonna call out Brian Urlacher? Miles, which camera am I on? Let me talk to the crew. Miles, you slipping? Because Day One Gang Jarrell is right. How did yeah, you absolutely right, dog. Urlacher got to be in there. You absolutely right. Yeah, dog, man. Hey, man, shout out to Day One Gang Jarrell. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Luke, Derek Brooks, Urlacher got to be in there for sure. Jack Ham was like the original cover linebacker. You know what I mean? Do your Googles. Lambert's still in there. Levante David. You know what I mean? There's a couple other guys too. Now I'm trying to think about it, but Urlacher got to be in there. I'm tripping. Hey, yeah. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? The production crew is growing. You know what I mean? The production crew is growing. I had to make sure. I didn't know if I was on camera one. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know which. I had to ask production which camera I was on. You know what I mean? Yeah. Shout out to my dog Day One Gang. Urlacher absolutely has to be in that conversation for sure. For sure. And then there's some other greats now, but not necessarily in coverage. Like Mike Singletary, all-time great. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to call him out for coverage, though. And the league was different there. Junior Seau is another one of my all-time favorite linebackers, but, I'm not going to necessarily see him out in coverage, though. You know what I mean? I'm trying to just think of some of my favorites. Because I gave y'all 6 or 7? Yeah. I'm gonna have to think on that, man. But yeah, if we talking coverage for sure. And we forget, bro, Urlacher was like 6'4", 250. Bro, Urlacher was a safety in college. Urlacher played safety for New Mexico State. His big ass played safety. And he ran like 4.4 when he came into the league. Bro, Brian Urlacher was an alien. Like, we do forget that, like, early Urlacher, him and Lance Briggs, that's an all-time duo. Urlacher and Lance Briggs is a top 5, 6 all-time linebacker duo. Matter of fact, since we listing them out, I'm going to get, in not in any particular order. Urlacher and Briggs is definitely an all-time duo. Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman is also an all-time duo. Oh, Thomas Davis. Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis. That was a fantastic duo. Jack Lambert and Jack Ham and the Steel Curtain and Steelers for sure. Man, another duo. Jonathan Vilma and Mario Davis was nice in the Saints. No, did they play together in the Saints? Oh, I'm going to think about that, man. I'm going to think about that as well. But whatever we would do with duos, Urlacher and Briggs is in there all time. They in there all time. Harry Carson and LT, I'm tripping. But see, LT played more on the edge, though. I'm like, when I say linebacker duos, I'm thinking stack linebackers, like stack backers. You know what I mean? Guys that lined up with their heels at 5 yards. You know what I mean? Let me see. Hey, Mr. G Fetty in the building said Ray Lewis is his GOAT. Yeah, no, Ray Lewis is the guy, man. Yeah, that's why that's why I said like we gotta take Ray Lewis out of these type of conversations because he's the guy. You know what I mean? Like that's like if we talking receivers, I gotta take Jerry Rice out of it. Like Jerry's the guy, man. Like it ain't no question. Like Jerry's put up. Like Ray Ray's put up. You know what I mean? Like we already know what time it is. Like we just take Ray out of these conversations because he's already on the top. He's sitting on top of that mountain. You know what I mean? Like he's definitely the GOAT for sure. That's why like it's not fair if we like put Ray in here because we just gonna go with Ray. Now also now if we talking just coverage, I don't think now Ray was a passable coverage linebacker, but he was a little more limited in just pure pass coverage. But then also the league was different in his heyday. The league was different anyway, though. You know what I mean? Like he had to worry about banging with 240-pound backs that were really getting 30 carries a game. Fred Taylor getting 30 carries a game. Eddie George getting 30 carries a game. Jerome Bettis getting 30 carries a game. They running back Jamal Lewis, 30 carries a game. You know what I mean? Like it was a different league then. You know what I mean? Now he is like I said. Now he's viable. I don't mean to say that, but I don't think he was necessarily exceptional in just in pure coverage. But now he's still the guy though, man. Yeah, he's still the guy. He's still the guy for sure. Shout out to Mr. G Fetty, man. Hey, where you from, homeboy? What's your team? And hey, I see y'all in this chat. Ain't nobody dropped those scores in here for me, man. I need some predictions, matter of fact. Hold on, I see Mondoose in here. She got Seahawks winning today 30-18. Hey, Miles, Day One Game Jarrell, Mr. G Fetty, you know what I mean? Drop some scores and me some predictions on this game for sure. Clay Matthews was nice. Now, one thing I'll say about Clay Matthews, he was more so a outside linebacker on the edge, but then also his run felt a little short. His run in Green Bay felt a little short. I want to say it was like there was like that I think he had like a real 3-year stretch where he really was a truly elite rusher for sure. Mr. G Fetty said he in Colorado. Oh, and the Patriots is his team. He going Pats 28-14. Man, I really rock with Drake Maye, man. Drake Maye. You know what I'm saying? I really fool with young Drizzy, man. That's Drizzy, Drake Maye, man. I do. But it feel like the comparison I've been making in the game. Hold on, y'all gonna have to forgive me. Matter of fact, hold on. I'm gonna to take myself off camera. My note, yeah, y'all have to forgive me. Y'all good. Y'all got it. But one thing I want to say is the way I've been seeing this game, I've compared it to like MVP Allen Iverson. When Allen Iverson took that 76ers team to the NBA Finals against the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, like this is how I feel about like this Patriots versus Seahawks matchup. It feels like we've got MVP AI, but he's going against a super team. The Seahawks feel more or less like a super team. They loaded on both sides of the ball with all-stars. And then for the Patriots, just like Allen Iverson 76ers, and you know what? Some of y'all might be a little young, so I don't even know if y'all remember if that resonates with y'all, like if y'all was too young for that. That's my prime, that's my heyday. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's my prime middle school era. You know what I mean? So like that was my heyday. And so it feels like Drake Maye is the Patriots Allen Iverson. You know what I mean? And so like he's got to drop 50 to get him a chance to win because the other team is just too stacked. And so, like, yeah, that's it. Just feels like it's like it's too tall an order. But I do think if the Patriots win, Sam Darnold, that probably means that Sam Darnold laid an egg. He turned the ball over, or he took a while he got started slow, and it means that young Drake Maye, he came out getting buckets. You know what I mean? Like they have to get sevens. If the Patriots kick field goals, they lose the game. Like I don't imagine there's room for the Patriots to kick a lot of field goals in this game. I just don't see it. Drake Maye's got to go out there dropping sevens for sure. For sure. But no, I ain't mad at you though, man. Hey, somebody in the chat say what's up to Mr. G Fetty, man. You one of them members now, big dog. Hit that bell for me. Hit that like button for me. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, if you can't tell, man, yeah, we stay pretty active in the chat to me, in the chat. So yeah, talk to me, big dog, because you know I talk back for sure. But yeah, somebody welcome Mr. G Fetty to the fam, man. He one of them members now. My dog, day one game, Jarrell said he's going Seahawks 31-20. Yeah, and see, hey, day one game, my score is similar to that as well, man. I've got, where was my score at? Okay, yeah. I think my score was similar to Jarrell's. I got 34-23 Seahawks. 34-23 Seahawks, man. Yeah, I got 34-23 Seahawks. Let me see. Hold on, where's my chat at? Uh-oh. There we go. Let's go. Yeah, you one of them members now, big dog. Let's go, man. You one of them members now, big dog. Hey, you one of them members now, big dog. Let's go. Yeah, man. For sure. Man, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I was pissed off when Drake Maye when they stole their MVP for Drake Maye, man. I had a whole rant about it earlier in the show. I'll probably gonna clip it and post it. I probably had a 20-minute rant about how they robbed Drake Maye of the MVP. The Patriots won 3 games last year, dog. This is the same team that was a 3-win team last year. This same 3-win team is in the Super Bowl 1 year later with a second-year quarterback, throwing the ball to Keyshawn Butte and Mac Hollins. Stop playing, man. And an older Stephon Diggs, and I'm a Stephon Diggs fan. But he's 32 coming off a big injury. You know what I mean? He ain't this ain't 2019, 2018 Stephon Diggs. So this guy with that team, that roster, was the number 2 seed in the AFC, and they playing in the Super Bowl, and he's not the MVP? Man, get the hell out of here. Matt Stafford doesn't get this Patriots team to the Super Bowl. Drake Maye gets the Rams to the Super Bowl. Drake Maye could have got that Rams team to the Super Bowl. Matt Stafford doesn't get this Patriots team to the Super Bowl. Hell no. Drake Maye should have been MVP, dog. Hold on, Sis said she had a score. Did I miss your score? Hold on, I'm going to go find it. My bad. I ain't see your score. Hold on. Cutting, I don't see your score. Nah, you ain't got no score, big dog. Hey, sis, you ain't got no score. I'm scrolling back through the chat. Hey, you ain't got no score. You gonna have to drop it. It didn't make it. I don't see your score. Drop it for me. I'm gonna put you on the board. Go ahead, drop it. Yeah, dog. Yeah, it pissed me off. And this thing pissed me off better too. He lost by 1 vote. Is some a-hole, I'm trying not to cuss on Sunday morning, some a-hole voted for Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert got a vote. What are we doing? Justin Herbert got a vote. That vote belongs to Drake Maye. Josh Allen got 2 votes. Now, I love me some Josh Allen. I do. I'm not going to lie. I love me some Josh Allen. He got 2 votes. So those 3 votes, the 2 votes that went to Josh Allen and the vote that went to Drake Maye, and the vote that went to Justin Herbert, those 3 votes belong to Drake Maye. Because the reason you would vote for Josh Allen, the reason you would vote for Justin Herbert, those are the reasons that you should have voted for Drake Maye. Because you would vote for Justin Herbert because he had a bad offensive line and he didn't have good weapons around him and he still found a way to compete. That's Drake Maye. Drake Maye's offensive line is boo-boo. Will Campbell may develop into a good left tackle. He's not a good left tackle today. He's not a good left tackle today. He's getting washed out there. Will Campbell, respectfully, he's getting washed. He's getting washed. That Patriots offensive line is terrible. And then you want to talk about weapons? Well, Justin Herbert didn't have any weapons. He's got Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, Omar Godson at tight end, who nobody knew. He didn't have a good running game. His rookie running back got injured. Najee Harris got injured. You know what I mean? That's still Drake Maye's story. Ramondre Stevenson ain't no stud. He's got the Butterfingers anyway. Fumblerooski. His name is Ramondre Fumblerooski Stevenson. And then he had rookie Trayvon Henderson, who couldn't even get on the field for the first half of the season. Now, once he did get on the field in the second half of the season, he was explosive. But he's still not getting the bulk of those carries. He's still playing number 2 to Ramondre Stevenson. So any reason you would vote for Justin Herbert, that should have been a vote for Drake Maye. And then Josh Allen also didn't have great weapons on the outside. He had Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks was Drake Maye's Stephon Diggs. You know, a veteran, an OG, but he's not tier 1 anymore. And then Khalil Shakur, I respect it. Because Khalil Shakur is a 3 on most teams. He's the de facto 1 on the Bills. So I get it. Khalil Shakur and Dalton Kincaid, and then Keon Coleman, who didn't show up for half the season, was a healthy scratch. So I get it. Josh Allen didn't have a lot of weapons on the outside, but you know what he did have? He had the league rushing leader in the backfield, though. He still may have more help than Drake Maye. He had a better offensive line, and he had the league's leading rusher. In this year, the Bills won just as many games on the legs of James Cook as they did on the arm of Josh Allen. So the 2 votes that went to Josh Allen, those belong to Drake Maye. The vote that went to Justin Herbert, that belongs to Drake Maye. That's bullshit. They try to make me cuss on Sunday morning. I'm trying not to, but that's bull hockey. You know what I'm saying? Bull fooey, whatever they say. You know what I mean? They robbed Drake Maye the MVP. And I don't even mean it to be like I'm taking a shot at Matt Stafford. Because I'm not even trying to take a shot at Matt Stafford. That ain't what it's about. Because Stafford's a stud, man. I was a big fan of Stafford when he was in Detroit. I wish my dog Chop was here because I want to call him out so bad. Because when my dog Chop used to tell me that Calvin Johnson don't even have an elite quarterback throwing on the ball, I'm like, cuz, you crazy. Matt Stafford's airing shit out, boy. Matt Stafford's airing stuff out, and it was airing stuff out in Detroit. They was just in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, they wildin', dog. They wildin'. All right, here you go. Here you go. Come on, cuz. Hey, man. Hey, he won me over, dog. Hey, the film don't lie, man. The film don't lie. Hey, Mr. G Fetty, man, you know, this is my new page. You know what I'm saying? I had a pod before. It was called Let the Film Speak with me and my dog. Because the film got to talk, bruh. Because the men lie, the women lie. The numbers can even lie. In football, numbers can lie. But the film don't lie. The film don't lie. Drake Maye is a baller. Drake Maye is a baller. And I'm gonna tell y'all, look. Y'all gonna have to bear with me. I'm gonna take a 30-second commercial break. I swear, but look, I'm gonna take a 30-second commercial break. I'm gonna be right back. Don't go nowhere. I'm gonna be right back. All right, there we go. Man, I'm telling you, dog, my nose was running crazy. My nose was running crazy, man. I had to handle that. I appreciate y'all. That's why I fool with y'all. That's why we RBT fam. I appreciate y'all rocking with your dog, man. This is a live show, man. It's a live show. Sometimes stuff happens, man. I had to blow my nose, man. It's all good. I had to blow my nose. Let me catch up on this chat. Let me catch up on my chat. Hey, sis, drop your score. I couldn't find your score. I went back. Now, also keep in mind, like the YouTube was tripping earlier. Like the link wasn't showing live. And I think some of the early chat wasn't syncing. So if you did drop a score, it might have been when like the chat was tripping or like when the YouTube and the chat was tripping. Because I did try to scroll back and find your score. Oh, you know what? Now I see it. I swear this wasn't there. I don't know how I missed it. Because it was right behind Day One Game Jarrell and then right before when you said what's up to Mr. G Fetty. And so I must have just missed it then. My bad. Oh, sis is taking young Drizzy in the Patriots 28-24. Oh, I'm glad I found that score, sis. Hey, I'm glad I found your score, Cutting. I'm glad I found your score, cousin. Yeah. Hey, I like it. 28-24. And you know what? That's what I'm talking about. Like, if this is game one, if y'all old enough to remember when MVP AI, if y'all old enough to remember when MVP Allen Iverson took the weakest team, and I don't want to hear about nobody talk about, man, LeBron took that Cavs team, man, shut up. You don't know no better. You just don't know no better then. That Cavs team wasn't as bad as that 76ers team. And then also the East wasn't as bad as Iverson's East. Iverson's East was legit. LeBron's East was trash. Who was the stiffest competition in that East, man? No. I take it back. Not for the entirety. And I'm not going to get too sidetracked because, you know, he did get the old man big three. He got old KG, old Paul Pierce, and old Ray Allen. They teamed up. You know what I mean? They did. So I ain't going to try to knock that. And then outside of that, what? DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry in Toronto? That's the comp? I mean, come on, man. No. Hell no. Allen Iverson took Eric Snow, Aaron McKee. Y'all don't even know these names. If I told y'all the roster, y'all don't know none of these names, dog. That's the team he took. He won an MVP and went to the finals against Shaquille, prime Shaq, prime Kobe. Man, come on, man. It's not a competition. That's what Drake Maye's doing with these Patriots. This is MVP Allen Iverson going against Shaq and Kobe, man. But if y'all remember, y'all might be a little young. Allen Iverson went out there and dropped 50 and won game one. That Lakers run, they only lost one game in the entire playoff run. That championship playoff run for the Lakers that I'm talking about, they swept everybody. They lost one game in the playoffs. Think about that. That prime Shaq and Kobe Lakers team lost one game all playoffs. The only game they lost was game one against MVP Allen Iverson. And Allen Iverson went out there and dropped 48 points by himself. Come on, man. Hell no. So Drake Maye gonna have to have a game one Allen Iverson style performance. If he go out there and drop 50, you know what I mean? Then yeah, they can win that 28-24. If he go out there and drop a 50 ball like MVP Allen Iverson, then yeah, for sure. Maybe they can steal this one. Because then also I think that means that Sam Darnold probably laid a little bit of an egg or he started a little slow. So yeah, I'm glad I found that score. I'm glad I found that, Cutting. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, okay, you even said it's under the Jarrell. Okay, my fault. You see, Mr. G Fetty said, my thing is how does Herbert and Allen get a first place vote, but not... Ooh. Good call. Because if you gonna vote for Josh Allen and Justin Herbert, then yeah, why not Jonathan Taylor? And that's a good ass point. Because, and honestly, like during the season on the show, I had Jonathan Taylor as the MVP for like the first 6 or 7 weeks of the season. I had Jonathan Taylor as the MVP because when that Colts team was rolling, when that Colts team was 7-1, and Jonathan Taylor was on track to run for like 2,200 yards, people had Daniel Jones. People was trying to say that Daniel Jones was the MVP of the league when they was like 7-1. All right, man, y'all batshit crazy. Jonathan Taylor is running for damn near 250 yards a game. We know who and what Daniel Jones is. Daniel Jones looks this way because Jonathan Taylor is running through boys' chest for 200 yards a week. So I'm with you. Jonathan Taylor, for a stretch of this season, definitely was leading the MVP race in my mind for sure. For sure. And then, like I said, we know what happened that season. Their season fell apart, man. Daniel Jones he ended up finally tearing his Achilles, I want to say it was, or he tore something or injured something, but he got injured in that middle stretch of the season, and he was playing with the injury, and then towards the end of the year, I think that Achilles finally gave out and popped on him, if I remember right. But before Daniel Jones did get injured and banged up, Jonathan Taylor was the lead leader for the MVP in my book for sure. For sure. Oh, hey, yeah, I forgot that is your guy. Yeah, you still do need him to tote the ball today. You're right. I don't want to jinx you. For sure. Because you don't forget now, because I'm still, if you didn't know, it's Big Steeler Nation, man. It's Big Steeler Nation. I think we made that boy cough about 3 times when we played y'all. I think he coughed about 3 times when we played y'all. I think he put 3. I think he lost 3. We got 1 from young Travion. And we got 1 or 2 from Drake Maye. I think we had like 5 or 6 turnovers when we played y'all. We did. For sure. Let me see. My dog Day One Game Jarrell said these fake scenarios of if he's on the team has to stop. Okay. Your argument has weight with the team he's on. We keep trying to play in a fancy world. And you know what? That's fair. That's fair. But the only reason that I would push back on that push back a little bit on that Dwayne Jarrell is because when we're talking about most valuable, like that conversation is subjective. And so do we measure value? Because I think value is subjective to like how much you're elevating the team around you. And so it's hard for me to say that Matt Stafford is the most valuable when he's playing on a relative all-star team. You see what I'm saying? And so that's why, because when I hear the most valuable, because it's not the most valuable player, just like if you're the MVP, I think that means you raise the floor for every team you go to. Like if Matt Stafford, if I'm gonna say, I do get what you're saying, because, and I don't think the whole argument should be based on if this was that, if that was this, if it was a fifth, if my auntie was my uncle. So you are right there. You make a good point. Shout out to Day One Game Jarrell, man. I've been missing you on the show. This is what I need, Day One Game Jarrell. Hold me accountable, dog. Shout out to my dog. What he's saying is valid because we can only do so much ifing and wishing, for sure. But I do think it is still worthy of discussion because how far did you have to go? Matt Stafford on that Rams team, he's on third base. Oh, man. Uh-oh. Why are they playing with me? Are we back? It says the connection got a little funny. Are we back? Are y'all here? Hold on. Uh-oh. Okay, my dog Tom, man. Shout out to my dog Terrible Tom. Hold it down for them Houston Texans. He said he's not a good QB. So Tom must have just woke up. Oh. Okay, now I'm good. Okay, hold on. Tom, you say you here? At the crib? All right, hold on, y'all. I'm gonna step away. I'm gonna step away for a quick second. I'm gonna step away from the quick second. My dog Tom said it pulled up on me. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I got you. The chat's coming back now. Yeah, it said I lost connection for a second. All right, we're gonna take another commercial break. Don't go nowhere. We're taking another commercial break because Day One Games are real. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that Day One Games are real. Day One Games are real. He just showed up dropping some. Day One Games are real. Just showed up dropping some nuggets on y'all today. We're gonna get back into that. Hold on. Man, hold on now. No, when none at my door except Amazon deliveries. When none at my door but Amazon packages. Wasn't nothing at the door but Amazon packages, bruh. Unless you at the wrong door. Unless you at the wrong door, bruh. Unless you at the wrong door. Hold on. All right, hold on. We're gonna talk about this Day One Get You Real. All right. It's not the complete crux of the argument, but I do think that it does have a place in the discussion because that's what I'm saying. So like, just like anything, just like in the world, if you make it home, but you started on third base and I make it third base, but I had to go start from first, right? Are you more valuable now because you went from third to home? Or am I more valuable because I had to get a hit first, second, and then I had to get the third? You know what I'm saying? So like, I do think there's still context that should be applied to the circumstance. I think there's definitely got to be context that still gets applied. But it's not to say it's the complete end all be all, but I don't know, because how do you determine value then? Like, how are we determining value? Right? Because are we saying because he's the best player on the best team? Because arguably, for a lot of the stretch of this season, it looked like the Rams are just the best team. The Rams peaked a little early, right? I think they peaked a little early, and then they kind of tailed off towards the home stretch of the season. They kind of came back down a little bit. Still competitive for sure, but they peaked a little early. Around weeks 10, 11, maybe 12, before they went to Carolina. When they lost to Carolina, they were peaking like that week, and then that loss to Carolina kind of took them down a couple notches, and then they kind of leveled back out. But they never, I don't think, played to the level that they were before that Carolina loss. Up until that point, I think most people felt like they were clearly the number one team in the league. So if you're arguably the best player on the best team, I don't think that makes you the most valuable. Because when I see value, I want to be able to extrapolate that, because not only are you valuable there, but where else are you valuable? And so if I see one guy who's playing with a B and C roster versus one guy playing with an A roster, and then the guy with the B and C roster went farther than you did with the A roster, because that's what he did. That's what he did. So, like, I think it's fair to add some context in that way. You know what I mean? Like, I do think it's fair to add some context in that way. And the reason I made the direct comparison, because these are the two guys. Now, I'm not to say that everybody everywhere whoop, because that can get a little messy. Now, and also, though, I've talked about that on the show as well. We have talked about that on the show as well. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. I think there is room for that style of conversation, dog, because you got to give some type of context, dog. You've got to give some type of context. Because it's not all 1-for-1. Like, all these situations aren't 1-for-1. Peyton Manning did win back-to-back MVPs. Peyton Manning was the first quarterback to win 4 MVPs in the league, I want to say. No. He went back. He didn't win. I'm not saying he won 4 back-to-back. Peyton Manning did win 2 back-to-back, though. He won 2 back-to-back, and then he won another with the Broncos. Because I think Aaron Rodgers has 4 total MVPs. Brett Favre won 3 MVPs back-to-back. He won all 3 of his in a row, which is crazy. God, nobody's ever done that since Brett Favre did in the 90s as well. But Peyton Manning absolutely did win back-to-back MVPs. For sure. For sure. He said Stafford's touchdowns were one. I mean, yeah, it was some goal line touchdowns because Devontae Adams was a menace. There was a stretch where like Devontae Adams had like 8 touchdowns in 6 games or something like that. And he still ended up leading the league in touchdown receptions, even though he missed like 3 games. And I think he still led the league in touchdowns with like 14, if I remember right. But I think of those 14, I do believe like the overwhelming majority of those were, like goal line and short red zone for sure. Yeah, they would goal line and short red zone for sure. Hey, yeah, boys forget Kevin Love. Hey, boys forget Kevin Love was Mr. 2020 before he went to Cleveland. Kevin Love was giving boys 20 points and 20 boards in Minnesota before he went to Cleveland. Like, boys forget. Kevin Love was a walking 2020 before he went to Cleveland, man. He said he think Drake Maye plays pissed off but smart and has a breakout game. He's going to have to. That's what I'm saying. Like, that Seahawks team is loaded, dog. And especially that defense. Because the Patriots offensive line is so weak, and the strength of that Seahawks team is their pressure packages and that defensive front. Leonard Williams was first team All-Pro. He's been dominant in that defensive front. DeMarcus Lawrence came over from the Cowboys. He's been damn good in a complimentary role, right? And then you've also got Ernest Jones at linebacker. He used to play for the Rams. He's damn solid in the middle of that defense. We already know the secondary. Devon Witherspoon and Nick Emenwari are both they're both capable blitzers. They're both very aggressive in the run game, and they're both super athletic, and they can cover just about anybody in the pass game. Like, that defense is loaded on all levels. We ain't even talk about Tariq Woolen. 6'3", running 4'3" with a 42-inch vertical. We ain't even talk about him. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that defense is loaded, man. That defense is loaded. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if the Patriots win, it's definitely going to be MVP Allen Iverson taking one away from the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, the prime Shaq and Kobe Lakers. He said because he hasn't played in good weather since before the playoffs. Okay, which may be a reason for him to have a better game. Yeah, it was an ugly weather game. Oh, hold on. Now there's my door. Hold on, I'm coming right back. Commercial break. You gotta wait. Oh no. Okay, yeah, the thing. Yeah, right here. Yeah. All right. Now we back. But no, they haven't had good weather for sure, right? And so in that Patriots game against the Texans, definitely the weather was rough there. And then we already know about that Broncos game with the blizzard, the full-fledged blizzard that settled in that one as well. And so, we know what's going on there. Now, they are going to be playing in San Francisco. I don't expect there's going to be any style of weather there. But the thing about it as well is, I don't think the weather being better is going to be necessarily the difference in the game. Like, they've got to find a way to deal with that pass rush in the defensive scheme of Mike McDonald, and their just offensive line is just going to be severely overwhelmed or overmatched. That's the bigger thing. And then the weapons on the outside, like we talked about, Keyshawn Butte, Khalil Shakur, and Stephon Diggs, right? Those guys, none of those guys are elite. None of those guys are tier 1. And they're going against a very stout defense. And so they're just overmatched in all facets on the offensively. Their offensive line is going to get washed. Their offensive line is going to get worked out, man. I hate to tell it to you. The offensive line is going to get killed. Now, the thing about Drake Maye, he has had to deal with that all year, and in dealing and playing with that sorry offensive line, he still led the league in completion percentage. He still led the league in average depth of target, and he was amongst the league leaders in touchdown passes, and he was viable with his legs, both running the ball for yards and touchdowns as well. So he's had to overcome a lot of that all year long. You know what I'm saying? But look at Tom. He's had to overcome all these things all year long, but I really just think like it may be too much to deal with today, man. And that Seattle Seahawks defense has took it up another notch. Like this second half of the season, that defense really, I feel like, went up another level, and they're playing just damn fantastic football right now, man. It just feels like it's too much to overcome for young Drizzy Drake Maye, man. It just feels like it's too much to overcome for sure. Let me see. My dog, Day One Game Jarrell said, my gripe is how many categories MCM got this year, and Saquon should have had the same last year. MCM? Oh, you probably mean C-Mac? Hold on, wait. And Saquon should have had the same last year. Saquon was Offensive Player of the Year last year. What you mean? Saquon was Offensive Player of the Year last year. Hey, Day One Gage, you got to explain that. Cause I'm not sure what you mean. Because Saquon was Offensive Player of the Year last year. Christian McCaffrey wasn't Offensive Player of the Year this year. Jackson Smith and Jigba got Offensive Player of the Year. Let me see. He said, yeah, I'm saying your MVP point holds weight on how you explain how the trash talent is. Oh, okay. I appreciate you. Boy, Tom drunk. Tom still drunk from last night. I can tell right now. Drake Maye trash. He had a rough night. Y'all gonna have to forgive him. I'm gonna get him some Pedialyte here shortly. Yeah, let me see. I'm gonna catch up on this chat, then I'm gonna have to wind it down. Let me see. He said you did it when you pointed out the starting talent and where they both finished. Hey, shout out to my dog Day One Games real, man. He said I done made him a believer, man. In Drizzy Drake Maye, we trust, man. He said, hey, I'm just saying, dog. You know what I mean? Bruh, Day One Games real. I think me and you, we roughly the same age, bruh. You remember them Allen Iverson 76ers teams, dog? Do you gotta be old enough like me to remember them Allen Iverson 76ers teams, dog? Drake Maye feels like he's Iverson on that team with Eric Snow and Aaron McKee and Keith Van Horn and like a 40-year-old Derek Coleman. Like, come on, dog. Like, come on, man. Like, yeah, that's crazy. Man, hell yeah, man, the sheriff won some MVPs. Y'all crazy. Yeah, y'all crazy. Hell yeah. Let me see. Hey, only the best for you, dog. Yeah, only the best. He said, what is this, velvet? You damn right. Yeah. For sure. Let's see. Hey. Don't get carried away. Don't get carried away now. Yeah, no. Oh man, look. I thought it smelled like corn chips now. I was sitting there thinking, I was like, I know I didn't buy sour cream and onion, nothing. I was like, something's going on. I thought maybe he had snacks. No, he'd have took his shoes off. For sure. Yeah, man, that's my dog, man. That's terrible time, man. Yeah, that's terrible time. And matter of fact, y'all lucky. He been telling y'all for about 4 years the Texans going to the Super Bowl. He done finally figured it out that that's over. He done finally gave up on C.J. Stroud. Because for one, y'all won't believe, me and my dog Tom, we debated for about 45 minutes about 2 months ago whether or not C.J. Stroud or Drake Maye was the better quarterback. You know, this man told me that the Patriots would trade 3 first-round picks for C.J. Stroud. And right now, DeMarco Ryans, you can get C.J. Stroud for a 4th-round pick and 2 packs of Skittles. Ask DeMarco Ryans. He called me. I told him, nah, we good. I'm going to run it back with old man A-Rod. I said, nah. He said, look, take C.J. in a second. I said, what you want from me? He said, no. You don't get it. Just take C.J. in a second. I said, no. No, we good, man. We going to run it back with A-Rod. Yeah. That's how that turned out. He said, C-Mac is in 4 different categories this season. Like 2 less. Oh, okay. Well, I ain't gonna lie now. C-Mac did a lot of heavy lifting for that Niners team as well, because we got to remember Brock Purdy was injured, and so Mac Jones was the quarterback. Brandon Ayuk sat this season out. Ricky Pearsall, the second-year receiver, he was injured, but he ain't shown us that he's a name yet anyway, but he was injured for a lot of the season. George Kittle was in and out the lineup as normal for a lot of the season. Trent Williams missed a lot of time this season as well. And then also, we already know about the defense. They was missing their best 3 players on defense. Fred Warner is the best linebacker in football. He was out damn near all year. Nick Bosa is a top 5 edge rusher. He was out damn near all year. And so C-Mac was the dude. C-Mac almost went, hold on, Day One Gang Jarrell. Because I love me some C-Mac as well, man. You know I fool with C-Mac. I'm going to give you some C-Mac numbers. I'm going to give you some, hold on. Where you at, C-Mac? I thought I had some C-Mac numbers. No, I didn't. I am Bijan. Uh-oh. Come on, man. All right, yeah, I'm at to wind it down. It say I don't know if the connection lost or not, man. It said there was connection stalled. Okay, now it looks like we might be back. I'm gonna wind it down. But one thing I was gonna say though, Day One Gang Jarrell, is I want to say for this team this year, because C-Mac was on pace to go for like 2,200 yards all purpose. And matter of fact, no, C-Mac almost went for 1,000 and 1,000. When we was talking about Roger Craig earlier making it to the Hall of Fame, he was the first guy to ever go 1,000 rushing and 1,000 receiving. C-Mac, I think, was like 100 yards short, or maybe not even a full 100. C-Mac may have been like 80 yards short of 1,000 and 1,000, which would have been the second time he's done it. I think the only person that's done it twice is Marshall Faulk. If I'm not mistaken, I think Marshall Faulk may have did it twice with the Rams in that old school Greatest Show on Turf years. But outside of that, I don't think anybody's done it twice. C-Mac's done it once. He was like 80 receiving yards short of doing it a second time for this San Francisco Seahawks team this year. And we got to keep in mind with all the injuries that they had, this San Francisco 49ers team won 12 games this year. Like, this was the quietest 12-win team in the league. Like, they won 1 less game than the Rams and the Seahawks. No, Seahawks ended up winning 14. They won 1 less game. The Niners won 1 less game than the MVP Matt Stafford-led Rams, who had Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams and Blake Corum and Buddy, Kyron Williams. They was a top 3 rushing team in the league. So with all those pieces in play, they won 1 more game than C-Mac with Mac Jones and an injured George Kittle. Jawaan Jennings had to get off this year. You feel me? So like C-Mac did a lot of heavy lifting. It wasn't his prettiest year because they ran him into the dirt. Like, this is one of those years where I don't know if we're going to see C-Mac again. C-Mac is like, what, 28, 29? And I think he had over 400 total touches this year. Like, that 400 touches is like it's almost like a death nail for running backs. Once you get the 400 touches in the season, especially like when you get closer to 28, getting close to 30, Those backs are never the same again. Y'all remember, I don't even know how long y'all been watching football. Y'all remember Larry Johnson with the Chiefs? Oh yeah, my dog Miles here. Oh yeah, he know. Bruh. And matter of fact, I'm glad you hear Miles, because y'all hold Larry Johnson. Y'all didn't want Larry Johnson to break Priest Holmes' career rushing record so bad that y'all they benched, man, they did Larry Johnson bad in Kansas City, man.
He shouldn't have signed with The Rock.
They did Larry Johnson wrong. Larry Johnson went for like 1,800 yards on like 420 carries, dog. They ran that man ragged and then cast him aside so that he wouldn't break Priest Holmes' record. You know what I mean? And so by 27, he was gone. Like, when you get over 400 touches, bruh, like, that's a beating. C-Mac already missed last year. He had to go to Germany to get Kobe Bryant's super secret German PRP injection in his legs. You know what I'm saying? So the man got cyborg legs. He came back after he missed a season, and then you gave him 400 touches and they won 12 games. Like, bruh, he was a workhorse. He was, dog. He was a workhorse. Oh, here you go. Yeah, I had to remind him. Yeah, he had to save little face. I had to remind him. That's all good. Yeah, better late than never. Better late. Yeah, we'll be waiting on it. It'll be 2050. We waiting on that late ass Super Bowl. Yeah. But nah, hey, and I think, okay, I'd have caught up on the chat. I think I'd have caught up on the chat for sure. So I think we're going to probably go ahead and have to wind this thing on down. Now, I'm going to tell y'all now, same thing as before. If you got something on your mind, better speak now or go on and hold your peace. If you got it on your mind, you go ahead and let it out, man. I'm going to try to put you on the board. But other than that, it's time for that real member roll call, man. Y'all know what time it is. Let me see here. Let me find out who was first in the chat today. Matter of fact, if I remember right, I think it was my man. Mom Deuce was first in the building. Say happy Super Bowl Sunday, son. And Big Nation family, have a blessed show as always. I appreciate you. Let me see what's going on. Sis was in the building as well. Happy Super Sunday to all the folks. I appreciate you. My dog, Pretty Tony the Painter, in the building. Let's go. Definitely, yeah, he knows what's going on, man. Caleb Williams, definitely all-time historical pass in any era of football we've ever known. Hey, here are these guys. Shout out to my dog, Cooper Jones. Hey, this is a PG-13 show, you cursing. Shout out to my dog, Mr. G. Fetty, in the building, man. Hey, you one of them members now, big dog. I appreciate your homeboy. Let me see. Shout out to my dog, man, Day One Game Jarrell, in the building, man. Hold it down for your dog. I appreciate you as always, man. I'm looking for you. I know Drunk Tom got in this thing as well. Hold on, I'm going to find you. I'm looking for you all long time. Oh, here we go. Shout out to my dog, Terrible Time, holding it down for them Houston Texans. And he let y'all know eventually that they going to that Super Bowl. We'll see one time or another. And other than that, I know I missed a few of y'all. I'm looking for you. Damn. Say the same thing every week. Feel free. Say it with me at home. If I forgot to say your name, damn. Hey, my bad. But charge it to my head and don't charge it to my heart. You know I'm thinking about your big dog. Hey, I appreciate all y'all rocking with me, man. Like I said, I had all type of technical difficulties today. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to holler at post-production. Day One Game Jarrell, don't even worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Day One Game knows going for sure. Get yourself a cold of dope beverage, hold it in your favorite hand. You turn the big game on your favorite TV. You kick your friends out of your favorite spot on your favorite couch because they in your house. And then you enjoy your football Sunday, big dog. Other than that, y'all have fun. Y'all be safe. You enjoy yourself. We will be back now Wednesday. Tap in. We'll do a Super Bowl recap. I'm sure it's going to be plenty to talk about. You know what I mean? So we'll have a good time doing that. And other than that, y'all have fun. Y'all be safe. Enjoy your football Sunday. Until Wednesday, peace.